Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Daar say. Good morning, Delft, Bellville, surrounding areas, Cape Town. Good morning. I hope your tummies are full. You all had coffee. You had a piece of cake. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Delft community Imbizo. And the theme is fighting the scourge of gender-based violence. I'm sorry for that break. Mrs. Sinden is our interpreter for sign language. So we're covering everybody, ladies and gentlemen. So the fighting the scourge of gender-based violence, that's our theme for today. But I think we have a cross range of government representatives at the table, sitting in the back row and in the front row here. So please don't feel confined. Okay, I suppose my name is Rodney Isaacs, and I am from the Department of Justice. Now, I think we need to start our program now, so that we get on with the business that you have come here so seriously today for. And I want us to begin with the National Anthem. And so I would be very pleased if you would be so kind as to stand for that few minutes. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. The National Anthem is as in ons bloed, maak nie saak die verskille. Now, can we maybe just for another 30 seconds have a moment of silence, and you're most welcome to sit down for that. a moment of silence for the victims of our gender-based violence. And normally the moment of silence is not necessarily only a moment of silence, but a fine silent prayer as well. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very, very much. I would now like to call upon our National Commissioner of Correctional Services, Commissioner Tobagale, to come and assist us with some remarks. Thank you very much.
Molweni. Goeiemôre. Good morning. Thank you, Program Director. Deputy Minister for the Department of Justice and Constitutional Development and Member of Parliament, Honorable John Jeffery. The South African Human Rights Commissioner, Advocate Chris Nissen. Colleagues from sister departments and other entities. And most importantly, abahlali, community members. Let me repeat again, good morning. We are gathered here today for the Justice and Correctional Services Imbizo to tackle the very most important issue of gender-based violence and femicide. As part of the Presidential District Development Model, an Imbizo is an important public participation platform that ensures the voices and views of communities are heard. Today we have come to the community of Delft. Sila ukute sive imibono yenu. Sila ukuve sithethisane nani. Sizwe kuni ukubalomba we-gender-based violence and femicide. Singawuphelisa kanjani? As citizens of Delft, you will have yet another opportunity today to engage with government directly, and you will give us proposals on how all of society can improve in dealing with gender-based violence and femicide. Just last week on the 4th of May, a young 21-year-old woman by the name of Tandile Sotashe was murdered, and her body was dumped at the Delft dumping site. She joins a long list of women that we continue to lose on a daily basis. So surely together, sisonke, sibumbene, sibambene, we can do more to end this violence. So it is my honor and duty today to welcome all of us to this Imbizo. Your presence gives us courage as employees of government to wake up every day and work hard to ensure that we end this violence. The area of Delft remains a priority in terms of our work as the Department of Correctional Services. Our department provides monitoring to 161 parolees, 48 probationers, and 16 awaiting trial persons. We focus on these people. We rehabilitate them, we correct them. Senzele ukuba cabagcibile isigwebo sabo bangabuyeli endleleni zabo ezingalunganga. Sithemba futhi ukuthi i-community nayo izasinceda by making it a point that our efforts are supported. With these few words, Program Director, thank you for the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Commissioner. Tobachale. No, I'm not one of those facilitators that will want to repeat what every speaker has said. I feel it's important to move the program on because you want to hear the important speeches and interact with the various departments. Now the next one would be the purpose and significance of the Year of the Community. And specifically, we have given Mr. Malema, the Acting Deputy Director General for Court Services, we have given him 15 minutes, only 15 minutes. I promise you I will ask him to stop speaking when he goes to 35 minutes. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Program Director, Deputy Minister, the dignitaries present, Dumelang, Sanbonani, Khuyemore, Molweni, Absheni. I'm very happy to be here in this area. Sizela to launch a very important program, Year of the Community. This program is led by the Minister and the Deputy Minister. It's a program 80. The government officials must get out of their offices and go to the people. So that the days of the officials, bahleli ema ofisini, bafaka matai, banjele ukuthi is next week, the system is down, are over. So this is the program that the minister, the deputy minister is launching. Next week, the minister will be presenting the budget vote speech. Please, mlaleleni, listen, luister baie mooi, baie goeie nuus, is it nuus? Nee, baie goeie nuus vir julle om te sê. So ek pla dat julle moet baie mooi luister, because he will be talking to what we are going to do, the laws that have already been passed to protect women in particular. And I always wonder as a man, Uguti, how would I feel if I was a woman? And I cannot take a job that says I must start at 6 o'clock because nyasaba that there'll be some people waiting that can rape me. I wonder how it would be if I was a woman and I have a job where I must I must knock off at 7 o'clock. And I'm afraid to knock off at 7 o'clock because there are people that are waiting that can rape me. Now we cannot have a society like that. So the minister, the DM, will be talking to you what government is going to do. We've asked Mr. Isaacs here that he will bring his officials, like Delft, to help you, the women here, to apply for maintenance. Because you don't have the 10 rand to go to the court. So the government must come here and bring the forms so that you can apply. So those are the news that we are bringing you. Thank you very much.
Mr. Malema, julle nou net lekker wakker warm gemaak, dan gaan sit hy. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, now we have our Deputy Minister, Minister John Jeffery. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Goeiemôre almal. Molweni. Good morning to you all. Let me greet I'm not going to list all the dignitaries. There's a lot of them here. Many of them, all the people on the stage will be speaking so they can introduce themselves. But we've come with a big team of people from different sections of government that's working on GBV. Now, we know, as you heard, this is about gender-based violence and femicide. Femicide, the murder of a woman. And we know that it's touched the lives of all and left a devastating impact on our country. As you heard from Mr. Isaacs, the President has described it as the second pandemic. And a pandemic is like COVID. It's something very serious that can kill a lot of people. Many homes and communities have become places of despair and fear where a woman is abused, attacked, or murdered. Data from Stats SA tells us that on average, 1 in 5 South African women who are over the age of 18 have experienced physical violence from a partner. So that's high, 1 in 5 women. Most assaults against women are committed by someone close to them, such as a friend or an acquaintance, a spouse or an intimate partner, or a relative or other household member. Here in Delft, the situation is alarming, and that's why we're here today. If you look at the most recent statistics available from the police, for the period October to December last year, it's a very worrying picture. Delft is number 7 on the list of the top 30 police stations with the highest number of contact crimes. Contact crimes is crimes between people, assault, those kinds of things. Assault, murder, attempted murder, rape. It's number 2 when it comes to murder. It's number 6 on the list of attempted murders, and it's the highest for attempted murders in the Western Cape. It's number 3 on the list for sexual offences, and also the highest in the Western Cape. And number 4 on the list for rape, and the highest in the Western Cape. You may also have heard that as recently as last week, the body of a young woman was found here in Smoke Street with assault wounds to her body, and the Delft police have opened up a murder investigation. If you look at South Africa as a whole from October to December last year, so that's 3 months, in that 3 months, so not for Delft, but for the whole of South Africa, 902 women in South Africa were murdered. 1,240 were victims of attempted murder, somebody tried to kill them, and 15,692 were victims of assault, GBH, grievous bodily harm, that's serious assault. These are the cases that we know of, the ones that were reported, but there are no doubt many more that are never reported. Now, we know when it comes to other crimes, you might know here around the corner there's an area where a group of young men who are pickpocketers will hang out. And so you know to avoid that area. And you know who those people are, so if you see them approaching you, you can avoid them. I'm sure you know where the drug dealers are. And so you know if you're not interested, well, you know not to go there. Yes. But who is committing the crime of gender-based violence? It's us, it's men. Our fathers, our grandfathers, our sons, our brothers, our uncles, our nephews, our male colleagues. It's the men we know, the men who live under our roofs in our houses, who walk in our streets,
who live in our communities. So this is the problem with gender-based violence. It's men who are, we all know, it's us. So what is being done about it, and what help can victims get? You may have heard about the NSP, the National Strategic Plan on Gender-Based Violence and Femicide. This came after the total shutdown movement and the presidential summit in 2018. And its attempt to have a coherent plan involving all stakeholders on government's part in particular to deal with the crisis of gender-based violence. In short, it's the roadmap, South Africa's roadmap to ending gender-based violence and femicide. So some of the interventions that we have from the police's side, we have the FCS units. FCS is family violence, child protection, and sexual offences. And they focus on those crimes of sexual offences, violence against children, or crimes against children, and family violence. From the side of the police earlier this year, the Minister of Police, Becky Cele, said that there are dedicated gender-based violence desks at 381 police stations across the country, and more than 91,000 police officers have been trained in victim empowerment, domestic violence, and sexual offences-related programs. This will ensure that there's a victim-centered service provided by officers at police stations. There are 185 of these FCS, family violence, child protection, sexual offences units, focusing on efforts in investigating crimes. And nationally, those FCS units have contributed to 272 life sentences being imposed for crimes committed against women and children since April last year to February this year. And I'm told that Delft SAPS police station has an FCS unit. We also have sexual offences courts and Tutuzela care centres. Now, a sexual offences court is at the regional court level. I think your courts here are at Parow, Belleville, Khayelitsha. They're special courts designed to try and make it easier for victims to be able to testify. There are separate waiting rooms. There's a separate room where the accused can testify. They don't have to see the accused, and then it's relayed into the court. There's intermediaries for children and people who have a mental disability. So those are all some of the things that are offered at those courts to make it easier to testify. There's also court preparation officers, court supporters, people who do trauma debriefing and counseling and so on. Then the Tutuzela care centers are units attached to the hospitals where a person who's been a victim of rape or a sexual assault or a survivor can go there. They can be medically treated and they can also have evidence taken. Your nearest TCC is at the Karl Bremer Hospital in Belleville. And the site coordinator, I'm told, Ms. Nobuhle Malunga, is here if anyone needs more information. And again, it's an effort at this TCC where people will get help, counseling, treatment, and have evidence taken. I'm told that last year there were 1,172 cases reported at the Karl Bremer TCC that involved children, 774 that involved adults, and 1,862 for sexual offences. This TCC has the highest number of matters nationally, so it does link in with the police saying you've got more crimes here. The Department of Social Development has a funded victim empowerment program, partner trauma center that works in Delft. And there were 166 GBV cases in Delft that attended the trauma center, and 137 that were reported to the Department of Social Development. Now, in January this year, President Ramaphosa signed 3 new laws on gender-based violence into effect. The first one, and they're all amendments to existing laws. The first one is the Criminal Law Sexual Offences and Related Matters Amendment Act. Now, in terms of the law as it was before, if you commit a crime, a sexual offence, rape, or a sexual assault against a child, that's a person under 18, then your name would go onto the National Register of Sex Offenders. And if you want to get a job working with children, then you'd have to be checked against that register to see if you are a sex offender. It was children and people with mental disabilities. What we've done is to change that, and now any person who gets found guilty of a sexual assault or a rape against anyone, doesn't have to be a child, their name goes onto that register. And the group of people that have to be checked are people working with children still, but also other vulnerable people, young women, for example. If you're going to work at the university residence at UWC, wrong province, UWC, you'd have to have your name checked on that register that you're not a convicted rapist. Otherwise, you won't get a job. So that's the main thing that does. There's also a new offense of sexual intimidation. If you threaten to rape somebody, that's now a crime. Then the second one is the Criminal and Related Matters Amendment Act. That does things like, at the moment, I spoke about intermediaries earlier. If you're a child or a person with a mental disability, when you're testifying in court, you'll have somebody who will listen to what the prosecutor or your own lawyer or the magistrate is saying, and they will then put it in a way that the witness can understand. And then you answer, and they then answer back to the court. That's only for children and people with mental disabilities. Now it's being extended to a broader group of people who need intermediaries. There's an issue of currently you can give evidence in a criminal case through a closed circuit television, but only a criminal case. Now you can actually do that in other cases, like when you're applying for a domestic violence order. And then it also increases the sentences, the prison sentences for people who have committed crimes against sexual offenses and gender-based violence. Then there's the Domestic Violence Amendment Act. Now, the way that works at the moment is if somebody, your partner, somebody in your household, your ex-partner is abusing you, you can go to court, you can make a statement, and you can try and get an order from the magistrate that your partner must not do this anymore. And once it's served on him, if he does it again, he can get arrested. So that's how that works. What we've done is to extend the types of things that qualify for domestic violence. So, for example, controlling behavior, coercive behavior where you're forcing somebody to do something, that's also included. Also spiritual abuse, elder abuse, and exposing children to wrong things. We also want to start enabling people to apply online. And then there's also responsibilities put on people from the Department of Health and Social Development. So those are some of the things that these new laws that are coming into effect are putting in place. We've got, as I spoke earlier about the National Strategic Plan, it's got different pillars, and Pillar 3 is one specifically dealing with these interventions. And some of these interventions are to increase the training and support to service providers such as police, prosecutors, magistrates, intermediaries, and other people working in the system. So this should mean that when you go to a police station, to a hospital, or to a court, the officials working there should be trained to handle your matter competently, efficiently, and with sensitivity and compassion. We know that gender-based violence and domestic violence doesn't happen in a vacuum. Often what starts off as an argument between two people is made worse by alcohol or other drugs. Often domestic abuse starts as an assault, and then over a period of time, it can lead to femicide. And as I said earlier, it's not just physical abuse, emotional abuse, verbal abuse, economic abuse. Ons is baie bewus daarvan dat sommige vrouens finansiëel afhanklik is van hulle eggenoot, vaders, vennote en familie, en dat hulle blootstelling aan gesinsgeweld, verkrachting en selfsmoord verhoog. Dit is waarom baie slagoffers onwillig is om teen die persoon wat hulle misbruik of aanrand op te tree, selfs nadat klagtes by die polisie aanhangig gemaak is, gaan baie terug om die aanklagte terug te trek. So, I explained, you get your interim order where just you have to go to the court. Then the magistrate will set the matter down for a later date when the person you're making the accusations against can come if they want to and say that this is not true. And then the order can be made final. And the problem is that many women get the initial order, but they then withdraw the case because of pressure from the family in particular. So what can we do to prevent gender-based violence and femicide? As I said, it's being committed by people within our communities, by us men. We have to change the way we treat women in our homes and workplaces, and how we raise our boys. Each one of us must teach our boys that they are who they are because women are. We need to challenge social attitudes which make the rights and needs of women subject to the will of men. You know, one of the things about the Constitution that we didn't have before is equality. Before we had apartheid, where white people were legally given more rights than black people. Now we have equality. Everybody is equal, black and white, depending on whether you're Christian or whether you're Muslim, equal. But also, if you're a man or a woman, men and women are equal. A man is not superior to a woman, and we need to accept that. There's also a gender-based violence command call center where you can call for free, toll-free, 0800 428 428. And you can also send a please call me to that call center, *120 *7867 #. And you can also SMS the word help to 31531. No woman must be told by the police when they come to report an assault that they must go and fix things at home. No woman must be turned away from a police station without a proper investigation. Now, I notice, General, that there was a lot of support for that. And also let me say that I've been at a meeting with police recruits where the Minister of Police, Becky Cele, has said to those recruits, those new policemen, if you send a woman home who's come to report domestic violence, you may be sending her to her death. So the police know this. I think what's important from the community and the community-based organizations here and the councillors is that if any official from the police, from the Department of Justice, is not taking these issues seriously, then you must report it so that we can take it up. So, in closing, access to justice is attainable and it's at your doorstep right here today. We've got many components, higher and lower courts, master's offices, family advocate. The family advocate for the Western Cape is sitting in the front row. I think she's speaking later. Legal Aid South Africa, the NPA, and the Department of Correctional Services. That's justice on its own. Then there's obviously the police. Ngiyabongoza kuwo wonke umuntu basebenzise ngokupheleleyo bayixhamla le ndweba yokuba sinabantu namhlanje abadala indima ngendima ezibalulekileyo kufuneka sisebenzeni kunye Dialunga ukuthetha isiXhosa ukuphelisa ukuhlukunyezwa kubantu basethini bulawa kwabo ngabantu abangotata. Ons moet luister en omgee en kyk na die vrouens en kinders in ons gemeenskap. Dit is ons ma's, ons dogters en ons kinders. So definitely as men, we need to treat women as we want our mothers, our grandmothers, our daughters to be treated. Baie dankie, enkosi kakhulu, thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, my brother. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. There we are, and we are very, very serious about our commitment. Now, for now, we are going to have a demonstration by SAPS Band Entertainment. SAPS, are you ready? But before we start with SAPS Band, we have two interpreters also that will summarize every time a speaker speaks, so that we are sure that we all understand everything equally. Okay? And we apologize for the early morning session where we did not have those interpreters. SAPS Band. We must get on with the business, ladies and gentlemen. Can we take our seats? we have in our midst also our Director General of the Department of Justice, Advocate Mashabane. Ladies and gentlemen, now we have our messages of support, but as you know, a message of support is not only we support what is going on here, but they also say something about themselves, about the institution, and about their commitment towards fighting the scourge of gender-based violence, against gender-based violence. So let us go on with our program, and must just necessarily, we were going to have our Judge President here, but as you know, the weather and the changeover of the weather from summer to winter is not too good to many people, and we have received an apology from our Judge President, ladies and gentlemen. We would like to call Reverend Chris Nissen to the stage. Thank you.
Good morning. Program Director, may I acknowledge the Deputy Minister, the Director General, Director for Public Prosecutions, General Beeden, and the Acting GG and Honourable Councillor. The South African Human Rights Commission is a Chapter 9 institution and has got a threefold mandate. That is to protect human rights, to promote human rights, and to monitor human rights in the Republic of South Africa. And all people in the Republic must be protected, whether you're South Africans or non-nationals. Everybody's right must be protected. And the Commission is based in Cape Town, in all 9 provinces, in Adderley Street 132, Adderley Street 6th floor. Deputy Minister and the Department of Justice, thank you so much for this initiative. But I hope that this initiative will be genuine and people will realize those promises that were made here this morning. Because for too long, our people are called to Imbizos, and then after the Imbizos, our people experience the same old problems. And hopefully today, we can see what the Department of Justice is doing by declaring this the year of the community, coming closer to the community, making sure that the community hear firsthand. But at the same time, the community also has a responsibility. Sometimes we are doing the victims of GBV even more harm because we know, we see, and suddenly we don't know and we didn't see. Suddenly, we all can talk about what happened, but when it comes to give evidence, the police are battling to get evidence from you. And then many times, cases are withdrawn because the mother says, what will happen to us if your father goes to jail? And so we keep quiet at times. And so we also indirectly or directly contribute to the scourge of GBV. Stand up, speak up. The time has come no longer to be quiet. We must contribute to helping the police to catch those criminals and not hide those criminals. And then one of the issues that really confronts us in our society is that we think very little of women. Even from a cultural, from a religious point of view, we always make as the woman is less than the man. But in the house, when the child needs something, the father says, go and ask your mother. So let us support the initiative of the Department of Justice Let us support the police, even if we have criticism, even if we've got complaints. But we need to support South African police services in order to make the society and Delft safe for all our women and all our girl children, all our children. Thank you so much, and please give the support.
Isithethe suke Isithethe esuke eqongeni
Ladies and gentlemen, just for clarity,
Isithethe esuke eqongeni bungu-advocate Chris Nissen uye wacacisa ke ngoku isithethe sicacisile isithethe ke ngoku njengoba ubona kwiprogram Honorable Judge Shophe kufanele uba nguye ke ngoku oye wathetha inikezela umyalezo wenkxaso. Advocate Chris Nissen ke ngoku usuka kwi-South African Human Rights Commission ezonikezela umyalezo wenkxaso. Okokuqala ke ngoku uye wachaza ke ngoku u-Advocate Nissen ke ngoku isakhiwo sabo se-Adderley Street kwi-6th floor ebulela kwi-department ngokuzisa imbizo apha ekuhlaleni. Izithembiso zenziwe apha kodwa uyathemba ezi zithembiso zenziweyo namhlanje zizithembiso ezofezekwa kuba imbizo zibakhona kudala imbizo ziqhuba ekuhlaleni kodwa emva koko akho tshintsho olikhoyo abantu basaphila lantlalo bebeyiphila. Yiloo nto ecela ke ebulela i-department ngozisa ithuba elifana neli yelimbizo. Okokuqala uthi ngaphandleni kojonga esipoliseni ngaphandleni kojonga kwi-department abantu ekuhlaleni ke ngoku akho nkxaso abanikelayo kwabantu ke ngoku abathi bahlukunyezekwe. Okokuqala uyayibona into enzekayo akho nto ithethayo niyathetha ekuhlaleni kodwa xa kufike amapolisa akho mntu ofuna unikezela ngobungqina akho mntu ofuna ekundleni ayothetha ngento eyibonileyo kuba thina sincedisana ke ngoku nabantu ophula umthetho nabantu abahlubezeka abantu besimame. So uyacela ke ngoku masohlukane ojongela phantsi umuntu ongumama nomuntu ongutata bayalingana makungajongelwa phantsi umuntu ongumama kuba ekugqibeleni kwasezindlini umntana xa afuna into kuye kuthiwe kuye yiya kumamakho. Kutheni ke ngoku ungazufana nakwezinye izinto umjongele phantsi umuntu ongumama? Mabaxhasane abantu ekuhlaleni makaxhasane omama babaxhasane abantu bongutata bayeke ke ngoku uncedisana ke ngoku ukuncedisana ke ngoku ne-gender based violence. Yabulela.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Do you think that we need to translate that to Afrikaans? So julle het verstaan. Dankie. Now, we're going to hear from a representative of the religious organization. And I must apologize because in brackets is SPC en ek wil nie my eie goed daarso sit nie want ek gaan stout wees. So Pastor Iman, I understand you are in the building.
All the broader communities on the outskirts are extremely blessed and honored to have you choosing Delft as the profound location today. We would love you to feel welcome and happy to be in this specific presence today. Thank you. Allow me to introduce myself. I'm Pastor Marvin Human, the future high-profile leader. Reckless killings, murders, and the list goes on. It is important that we respect and we thank our women in blue, men in blue, neighborhood watchers, crime busters that is out there daily on a challenge to face these difficult challenges that we experience every day. However, it looks like our hands is tied up and the situation looks very dark and gloomy. But allow me to say, great change is needed. I believe the turning point needs to take place with grassroots representation levels. What am I talking about? What am I referring to? Allow me for a second just to go and inform you about a very, very relevant point. In 2018, our spearheaded government nominated our Honorable President Cyril Ramaphosa, and they referred to a voice note that was received via the Eastern Cape branch and speaking about radical economic transformation. What is radical economic transformation? Let me inform you that that specific voice note that was filtered through the Eastern Cape branch, that was received by the Eastern Cape ANC representatives, was a very voice note that was received from the visionary of SPC. We know that God has His ways of how He works mysteriously. And today is a turning point in this community whereby radical economic transformation is a turning point where the economical infrastructural guidelines of the country is in favor of developing grassroots. Believe it or not, the turning point lies with the masses. One of the top high-profile leaders of SPSPC recognized, and we call ourselves a structured and superb design creative model. We call upon all governments, leaders, business leaders, celebrities, and all hungry to see change in this nation. I believe that the creative model is geared up attached to all sincerity guidelines. The desire and wishes for this specific organization is to work alongside of government and to be able to be a channel to assist government in the protocols and the request of radical economic transformation. Allow me to conclude. The long-term goals, levels, is to represent local, provincial, national, and even structured positively to make an impact into the international world. There are still tremendous opportunities for leadership and great leadership that is present for all walks of life. The wishes of this body, SPSPC, is to officially launch at the end of this year. Allow me also to leave you with this parable. A shepherd watches over his flock and never allows any to go astray or hungry. A wise man once said, our very own late international icon and legend, Mr. Nelson Mandela, we believe God prepared him for a calling. Everybody knows his profound abilities and talents. SPSPC will build and strengthen those legacies. And I quote our former President Nelson Mandela's words: "We are not free until the last one is free." A better life for all. And I thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Pastor, for those wonderful words. It's always difficult to tell the pastor to say, wrap it up. I don't want to mess up my chances of going upstairs, so I had to allow him to proceed. Thank you very much. The speech was inspiring. So I'm going to request humbly the next speakers, because sifuna nina nkulume. We want to hear from you. All right, so I'll ask the colleagues kindly that let's just get to the point. We want to hear your problems so that we can solve them. All right, so I'm going now to proceed. Mr. Isaacs is just stepped out to attend to an interview. So I'm going to ask SAPS. Oh, you are the lady. All right, she'll introduce herself and we'll briefly talk to you. Madam, over to you. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. Goeiemôre almal. Molweni nonke. Ndingu Marguerite Holzhausen. Ek is van die Trauma Center for Survivors of Violence and Torture. And I'm here today on behalf of the Trauma Center. I want to give a message of support to the Deputy Minister of Justice and Constitutional Development, Honourable Minister John Jeffery, the Honourable Deputy Minister of Correctional Services, Mr. Tobakale, and also Minister Malema, the Acting Deputy DG Court Services, the Councillor, all protocol observed. So I want to say to you today, I stand for peace. Hashtag I stand for peace. We want to end gender-based violence, but what do we want in the place of it? We want peace. We want peace in our communities. We want peace in our country, our continent, our world. We see a lot of wars everywhere, but the most of all, we want peace in our homes. So the Trauma Center supports government with the help of the subsidy from Department of Social Development to deliver counseling services for children, adults, men, women, boys and girls in Delft. So last year, we counselled in the whole of Western Cape 2,272 individuals. We also, and of which our busiest place, our busiest office is Delft. You'll find us across the street every Tuesday and Thursday behind the SAPS office. We come there, we sit in containers, we don't have aircon and heaters and stuff, we use what we've got, but we're there for the community. And sometimes the queue we encounter there looks like a SASA queue of people who have challenges with violence, victims of violence, victims of gender-based violence. We also do training. Today we have training. We are so happy to say that there's actually a SAPS member also at our training today in Woodstock. We do trauma support training so that our volunteers, our community activists, our service providers can give a trauma-informed response, can give the right way, communicate in the right way to our community members who come with their problems. And the staff of the Trauma Center are very dedicated, amazing people. If you've met them, I think you'll agree. And I, as a supervisor, I hear these stories. They suffer from secondary traumatization because of the horrendous stories they hear from people from Delft, what they go through. And if that is not enough, then often, after they've been through that, they don't always get the help and the justice that they deserve. And that is, for us, it breaks our hearts. So we don't want to just deal with people who are victims. We want to see the end of this scourge of gender-based violence. Therefore, we've got a violence prevention program. We ran it here in this exact venue. We had a drama, a gender-based violence drama that we did with youth, and we actually, through that program, reached and trained, we also trained community activists. We reached 15,000 people through that program in the attempt to end gender-based violence, to change attitudes, to make people aware of the issues we have, and to do things differently in this community. So we are grateful for this opportunity to engage with all the ministers and all the government officials. We're grateful. But it can't stop here. We need follow-ups. When issues are raised, we need people to come back to say what has been done. We need stakeholders to engage, to find lasting solutions for the problems we have with service delivery. And if we do things wrong, we also want to be told. So we need to go and really be honest and say, let's fix these problems. So I'm sure you share our vision, the vision of the Trauma Center for a violence-free society with respect for human rights. We will not rest until justice is available for everybody. It's there for everybody. When services are available for everybody. I won't raise the issues. You as a community will raise your own issues. You are competent to do that. So I want to end off the way I started, to say, I stand for peace. And I hope today all of you will, together with me, say, I stand for peace. Let's all say together, I stand for peace. I stand for peace. I stand for peace. If we speak it, we can start doing it. We can start getting our words are powerful. So again, I want to say, I stand for peace. Indimele uxolo. Ek staan vir vrede, baie dankie. Inkosi. Yabulela.
Umama lo usuka kwabakantsasana echaza phofu ngendima abadlalayo ekuhlaleni. Uthatha ngento kuba bane-trauma unit apho abantu baza neengxaki zabo bazichaze uba ngxaki zini badibana nazo. Uthi ke le nto iyabachaphazela nabo ngokwasemphefumlweni nasengqondweni ngenxa kokuba izinto bazibalisayo abantu ziyaxhalabisa. Echaza phofu kuba abakwantsasana baze ngoxolo benethemba ukuba kuzabakho uxolo not apha eDelft kuphela kodwa kwilizwe liphelele. Isithi ke baninzi abantu ababancedileyo phofu, ingathi ngamawaka ababini kule Delft kodwa wonke kule province yethu ngamawuka 50 abantu ababancedayo. Besithi ke kukho namavolontiya ase-Woodstock kweli thuba sikulo abavavanywayo abatreyinwa ukuze bakwazi ke uncedana ke nabantu ekuhlaleni ngale ngxaki sinayo. Anytime kuba le nto ayiphelelanga apha, iphupha lakhe kukubona uba wonke unelungelo lokuba akhuselwe i-Department lakwa-Justice nabakwantsasana. Ndiyabulela bahlali.
Thank you very much. We'll proceed in that spirit with that message of Utando Noxolo. I think it's a very important message, ne? that we stand for peace, we stand for love. So I'll call upon now SAPS, Major General VP Beaton. If you could give him a round of applause, please.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Goeiemorgen. Maweni yonke. Ninjani. Enkosi. Thank you for this opportunity. I'm always excited when I must speak to the community because I love what I'm doing. I believe in service excellence. I believe that I help everyone that comes into my office or who calls me. I believe in service delivery. So whoever of my members who are not doing what they're supposed to do, who disappoint the community, I want to know. It is not our standard. I want to emphasize that it is not our standard. Whoever is telling you that it is a standard to show away victims of crime, it is not our standard. And all our members sign that code of conduct. So whoever is doing that, we want to know, and we will expose them. Our Deputy Minister, President John Jeffery, and all the reps of the JCPS cluster. Also, we have Mr. Chris Nissen here of the Human Rights Commission. We have councillors, all other role players, the community at large, the CPF chairperson, Mr. Marty is here, the cluster board chairperson, the station commander, Brigadier Damoy and his people. There's officers from the provincial office. There's Brigadier Mong Jonker. There's officers here from the FCS. Thank you very much. So the South African Police Service is normally the first point of entry because the victim always comes to the South African Police Service. It's always the first call, and the victim or the survivor, which we also refer to, is standing in front of us in the community service center, and she wants to complain. And sometimes it's males also. So what must happen? The South African Police Service are guided by the ministerial 6-point plan. So it means that we all will have to comply to the 6-point plan. The first point is all the victims must be treated with respect and dignity and interviewed by a trained police official in a victim-sensitive manner. Point number 2, all victims are assisted at the victim-friendly room. All police stations have such a room. Or we can take the victim or the survivor to an alternative room where the statements are then taken in private. Point number 3, victims are then taken by the detective to the hospital facility or the medical facilities for a medical examination by the healthcare professionals to obtain the medical evidence because obviously we need the evidence to secure a conviction. Point number 4, investigations are conducted by the Family Violence, Child Protection and Sexual Offences Unit, which you call the FCS, or a detective with relevant training. And then in those cases, it will be females. Point number 5, the families and the victims of sexual offences, femicide and infanticide are referred to the victim support services that are available within the precinct for legal, medical, social and psychological help. Lastly, point number 6, victims are then provided with feedback on the progress of all their cases. It's important that detectives should provide the victim and the family with progress. Lastly, in second last, also we have the rights of the victims. You know, there's a victim charter, and the victim charter emphasizes the rights of all the victims or the survivors. There's 5 of them. The rights of the victim, the first one, to be treated with fairness and respect, to offer information during the investigation of their cases. So it means that they must also cooperate. To receive information from the police when reporting a crime. A victim has a right to protection. The victim has also the right to assistance. Lastly, I think the Deputy Minister spoke about the conviction rate, but I would just like to say that in the Western Cape, because the DM spoke about the national stats. Now, in the Western Cape for the past financial year, the FCS was successful with quite a few convictions, where offenders received 20 years and more years imprisonment. So that's life. In the Western Cape, we received 19 of those convictions. And then 10 to 19 years imprisonment, 116 cases. So it means in the South African Police Service in the Western Cape, there's pockets of excellence, as you can gather from the stats. Although there's a few challenges, which we will hear later on, but we will definitely, you can air your views, and then we'll respond. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for those wonderful words. Clearly, you can say the days of the past when you'd go to a police station as a rape victim and you had to relate your story for everybody to hear it are gone, right? So the police will give you a private room where you can testify and they can give you support. So the survivors must not be afraid, right? And if the police are not treating you well, we've introduced to you Major General Beaton. That's the man to complain to. All right? So we'll now hear from the prosecution. Kindly welcome Advocate Nicolette Bell. Please, a round of applause.
Osuke eqongeni ngoku nguMajor General VP. Osuke eqongeni ngoku Major General VP Bota. Osuka eqongeni nguMajor General VP Beaton, osuka kwa SAPS. Ubulela ke ngoku ngeli thuba alifumeneyo, uthi uyavuyisana afumane ithuba elifana neli kuba njenge ekwantsasana uyavuyisana abantu xa beza kwiofisi yakhe, nakumbi ke ngoku abantu xa beza ekwantsasana bezonikezela okanye bazovula amatyala, kubekho abantu abangafuni ukwenza imisebenzi yabo, kubekho abantu bathi hayi asizukwazi ukunceda bakujikise, kulapho angena khona ke ngoku, kulapho ecela abantu ekuhlaleni baze kuye ngqo kuba abakwantsakisana isipolisa silapha ke ngoku ekuhlaleni babancedise nabantu, akho mntu ojikiswayo xa eye emapoliseni. Ngakumbi ke ngoku aphinde abulele ke ngoku kwakhona kwi-Department of Justice, ku-Deputy Minister, i-Councillors, SPCS, ubrigadier kwa nawonke umntu nabahlali abazileyo ke ngoku. Apha echaza ke ngoku esipolisa bane-6-point plan. Apho ke ngoku into ebalulekileyo yokuqala ke ngoku yintlonipho ebantwini, intlonipho kumntu oza esipoliseni ezofuna uncedo. Xa ufika ke ngoku e-police station uyomangala kwisehlo esikwehleleyo, kukho igumbi elithile ekuthiwa yi-trauma room. Xa ingekho lo gumbi uye ufune igumbi elisekhusini ke ngoku apho njengomntu ohlumekileyo uzothetha nomcuphi. Umcuphi yafika uthatha ingxelo kuba ufuneke abenolwazi ke ngoku yintoni ekwehleleyo, uye usiwe ke ngoku esibhedlele uyodibana nogqirha, ngulapho ugqirha ke ngoku ezokuhlola kuba ubungqina buyadingeka ke ngoku ityala xa lizoya enkundleni. Apha esipoliseni kukho i-FCS ke ngoku elo candelo linxumene nezimangalo ezihlukumeza abantu basetyhini nabantwana. Liyaphandwa ke ngoku ityala oze ngalo, kuye ke ngoku umntu ozovula isimangalo ohlukumezekileyo ke ngoku kufuneke efumene i-feedback apho uxelelwa ke ngoku ulivulile ityala kwenzeka ntoni liyile enkundleni yintoni ngoku kufuneke ndiyenzile abantu funeke benalo ulwazi ngalo lonke ixesha ngokupheleleyo malunga namatyala abawuvulayo kuba ixesha elinintsi abahlali ke ngoku umntu avule isimangalo ke ngoku kodwa akanolwazi loba kwenzeka ntoni kwityala lakhe kwakhona ke ngoku uye wangqinise malungelo wabaxhoba ke ngoku nomntu ohlukumezekileyo kukho itshata ethile apha into yokuqala kwakhona ke ngoku yintlonipho funeka ufumane bonke funeka ube nolwazi ngesimangalo sakho funeka abahlali bakhusele yiyo nto ebalulekileyo ke ngoku ukukhuseleko labantu ekuhlaleni ngakumbi ke ngoku kuye kwajonga kwamatyala ke uvula ityala liye enkundleni liyaphandwa lixoxwe enkundleni kuye kujonge ke ngoku abantu bathi bafunyanwe benetyala ke ngoku irate layo ingakanani apho uye wachaza ke ngoku kukho abantu abaye bagwetya iminyaka phakathi kwe-20 ne-10 xa ejonga ke ngoku kwi-conviction yalapha eKapa ke ngoku kuye kwafumaneka ziyi-19 in-convictions apho namatyala ke ngoku ayi-116 kwiingxaki zibe khona ke ngoku uthi ithuba lizoba khona ke ngoku apha abantu bakwazi ke ngoku baze neengxaki zabo iingxaki bathi bazifumane ke ngoku xa beya emapoliseni enkosi
Thank you very much, Nkosi. Please also welcome our next speaker, Advocate Nicolette Bell from the NPA, please.
Good afternoon. I'm going to say all protocol observed and just honor our distinguished guests, the community, your most important here today. It is indeed a privilege for me to be here. I am the head of the prosecution services in the Western Cape. As you know, the NPA prosecutes all matters. Our mission is to ensure justice for victims of crime by prosecuting without fear, favor, or prejudice. Part of our mandate is to ensure access to justice and to avoid secondary victimization when you come to court. We, the MPA, are committed to fight against the scourge, against gender-based violence and femicide. We've heard this morning that the President has called it the second pandemic. How do we fight against it? We, as the Justice Cluster, the NPA, cannot do it on our own. We need you, the community, to assist us. We heard this morning of yet another tragedy in this community where a young lady was killed. Please let her not enter into the system by us not having witnesses to take that matter to court, to prosecute without fear or favor or prejudice. We cannot do it on our own. The Deputy Minister has spoken this morning about what it is that we as the MPA do. Ons is nie net die aanklaers en die swart rous by die hof wat die volgende getuie roep nie. We want to provide more, so I want to tell you what we do. We prosecute all cases, murder cases, most of it we take to the High Court, and I know on the High Court roll we've got some cases of the Delft community here as well, where we've got good witnesses. But I want to refer you to our sexual offences and gender-based violence. There we prosecute most of those matters at Pero Court 1, where we've got a dedicated sexual offences court, and as you all would know, at Belleville Court. At the dedicated sexual offences court, we've got experienced prosecutors in dealing with sexual offences matters. The services that we provide, and the Minister spoke this morning of the Tutuzela Care Centre. The center that services this community is the center at Karl Bremer Hospital. The services that we provide there is immediate trauma consultation when a victim arrives there, forensic medical examination, trauma counseling, and services as long as to help the survivor long-term with long-term counseling. It also helps so that the prosecutor can assist the witness, the survivor, to explain how the court processes work and to get the matter trial ready. We as the MPA also work closely with other government departments as well as civil society organizations. A further service, and the Minister previously alluded to it, is our court preparation officers. What our court preparation officers do is it informs the survivors about court processes, the role of the various role players, and what to expect at court. We remain dedicated to successfully prosecute matters, but without your cooperation, and we saw this morning how vibrant this community can be. Despite the minister alluding to the high crime states, we all came out together. We heard, we saw how vibrant the community were, how we can stand together. So when we have these matters, let the community stand together. As a final thought, I want to leave with you. If you know of any person close to you or in your community that is being abused or of a sexual offense being committed, you must report it to the police or the Tutuzela Care Center. We, the MPA, are here to serve you as a community, but we need your help to successfully prosecute. So my message to you today is please report. If you see something, if you see a sexual offense, please commit it so that we can take it further. Thank you.
Umama uBhel ungumphathi wabechutshisi kwela Ntshona Koloni, echaza kananjalo ukuba ngaphandle kwenu bahlali abechutshisi abakwazi uwenza umsebenzi wabo, bayafana ngabantu babatshelele ngezandla ngemva xa kungekho intsebenziswano isuke ekuhlaleni. Uthi ke phaa kule nkundla phakamileyo ekhona amatyala axoxwayo phaa kubulawa abantu lokudlwengula kodwa akhona. Uthi thina bantu basekuhlaleni sathanda ucimela bengathi asibona into, umuntu adlwengulwe axhatshazwe senze ingathi asiboni sibona. Uthi xa uyibhaqa into enjalo kuba yaqhubeka kumelwane wakho nasekuhlaleni, khawulezisa uya kwabantsasana emapoliseni. Ukhona nesenta yabo kuthiwa nguThuthuzela onceda ke amaxhoba kakhulu axhatshaziweyo. Uthi amasango abavula ibona phofu akho nto bakwazi uyenza ngaphandle kwenu bahlali. Uthi ke ucela loo nto ukuba sibe nentsebenziswano simanyane ngokuba udlame oluninzi abakuthi ekuhlaleni. Ndiyabulela.
All right, thank you very much. We're proceeding. We're now going to be hearing from somebody from the Department of Health, right? Utglecha, if you are a victim, you go to hospital, what is it that must happen? Can you please help me to welcome on stage Dr. Janine Josias from the Department of Health.
Good afternoon. I would like to say thank you to the community of Delft for their hard work, open hands, open hearts, open wallets to help one another. Delft, despite its disadvantages, is vibrant, and they do not wait on government to say that this is the year of the community. Every year in this area, it is the year of the community. Hats off to Delft. The role of the Department of Health for survivors and victims of gender-based violence is big, it's massive. And that goes from the home-based carer that goes into the homes of our people, that will see that this woman has a like blue eye, a bruise, and that something has to be done. And that goes then right up to a specialist surgeon at Red Cross Hospital that has to do a life-saving operation on a little girl that has been raped violently. So the Department of Health does not only work like at the Tutuzela centers, they work at all centers of the Department of Health when it comes to gender-based violence. Tutuzela Center, as have been mentioned, is a center that has been started by the National Prosecuting Authority in 1999 at the GF US Hospital. And that was the first center ever to be started in South Africa. At the moment, we have about 55 centers that are in the whole of South Africa. Tutuzela means to comfort. Tutuzela is a one-stop center where you get everything under one roof. At the Tutuzela, we do not send people from pillar to post. If people comes into the door, they will get all the services under one roof. Now when it comes to us, as the Department of Health, we treat sexual violence as a medical emergency. That is why our centers are open 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, an emergency. And as has been mentioned by our Deputy Minister, for this area, our patients have to go to the Karl Bremer Hospital, which is about 15 kilometers, and you have to take 2 taxis to get there. Unfortunately, this center is the busiest center in South Africa, and we are not very happy with that title. We serve 5 FCS like units at this hospital. Delft is only one of those units. And we take our hat off to this hard-working Colonel van der Kerk and the investigating officers. Unfortunately, they are understaffed. The detectives should have about 30 cases, but they have over 80 cases that they have to see to. And we must understand that these are fathers and mothers. They are people. A person can only do so much. So we urge you, SAPS, get your house in order, give us more detectives. Sometimes when people get to the police station, they are helped, but here and there we get bad apples in the police. And people are told, please go home, do not wash, and come back. I am telling you today, you do not go home. If the police do not help you get yourself to us at the hospital, we will not turn you away. Because we see it as a medical like emergency. It doesn't matter if you have been raped 6 years ago, 6 weeks ago, 6 hours ago. We will not turn you away. There are always doctors and nurses and counselors. And then, for the health department, we only have like 72 hours, 3 days in which to give you life-saving HIV prevention medication. If you go to the police and they tell you, go home, you don't go home. You sit there, you fight. If they don't want to come to the hospital, then you get to the hospital yourself, please, because the time is not on your side. You only have 72 hours. We do not want people to get like HIV. Like we can always sort out the police afterwards, but get yourself to the hospital. And also when you get to the hospital, we've got soup and tea and coffee and sandwiches. We will look after you at the hospital. Then we've got only 5 days in which to prevent unwanted like pregnancies. We do not want people to become like pregnant after they have been raped, because we don't want people to now end up having like an abortion, or to have to give up that child for like adoption, or to keep that child, and then that child has to then know for the rest of their lives that this child wasn't supposed to be a doctor. Die kind is 'n kind van rape is 'n rape kind. It's not fair on that child. Get yourself to the hospital within 5 days. We will not turn you away. We have like emergency family planning, like contraception. And then sexually transmitted like infections, okay? Fail sick, STIs, STDs. We have medication that you can take so that you do not get an STI. If you get an STI, that can lead you to having long-term like infertility, that you cannot have kids afterwards. So please get yourselves to the hospital like ASAP. We ask our partners, SAPS, NPA, Justice, to also look at sexual violence as an emergency. Please, people. It is not enough that the health department has to be on standby day and night. It doesn't matter if it is like Easter Sunday, Boxing Day, that hospital is open. So we urge NPA to please staff the Tutuzela centers fully with the victim assistance officers. At our center, Tutuzela, that post has been vacant for the past 6 years. It is such an important post, so who does the work? It unfortunately falls in the lap of the health department or of the site manager of NPA, but that is not enough. And then we ask SAPS to please expedite the backlog of like DNA. Do you know how many thousands of rape kits are not being like analyzed like at the forensic science lab of the police? I have a patient that was raped. After 2 years, the magistrate said, the case is going to be taken off the roll because I'm waiting for the DNA. What happens? That rapist gets out of jail. That rapist goes back to his house and he tells everybody that I won the case, but he didn't win the case. But people don't know that it's not the fault of the victim if the DNA lab is behind. You know, why must that person suffer? So we urge SAPS. In fact, it is like a violation of like human rights of the victim if the DNA is not done. I don't know why I have to get up like at 2 in the morning, you know, get into my car, go to the hospital because I must collect like evidence. But that evidence sits at the lab for years and years and years. So that does not make sense to us, like as health workers. SAPS lab must also look at this as like an emergency. The same with the Justice Department. You need to look at sexual violence also as like an emergency. We talk about our conviction rate, 7%, 8%, I'm not sure. At our center alone, if we see over 1,000 cases in 1 year, and if we look at how many people are convicted people, it is a joke. Our patients come back to us and say to us, you know, doctor, I don't know why I had to go through all of this. You know, it is a waste of time. So what I'm saying is that we need political will in this country. We do not have enough. We are tired of talking. We need to do. And then lastly, the corruption in this country. Billions have been stolen, people. Billions have been stolen. For that reason, we do not get more SAPS officers and teachers and doctors and nurses and social workers and community safety, because a lot of money has been stolen. And as civil servants, we can only do so much. We need the tools to do our work. At the Paro Court, as you should know, the recording machines were out of order for over 6 months. You know, I took leave on the 8th of March on International Women's Day to go and march at the court, because I asked myself, what is the use of sitting here at the center? All the evidence, all the hard work goes nowhere because that court is not functioning. Our like prosecutors were saying, we want to work, but we don't have the tools. So as civil servants, give us the tools, and we need more staff so that we can really fight the scourge of violence, of sexual violence in this country. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Josias. Your candor and frankness is appreciated, and we have listened. Can I now hear from someone who is very close to your hearts, the social development? Ms. Marshall. Mrs. Brenda Marshall. From Miss
Good afternoon to everybody. All protocol observed, and thank you for this great opportunity to speak to the community of Delft. Yes, we're coming a long way, and we're really on the ground. So it's easy for the community of Delft to access us. I'm Brenda Marshall, and I'm representing the Western Cape Social Development. I'm based at the Metro North office, and we're serving the Delft area community. Our services is out to render services to the poor and the vulnerable. So child protection is actually our core business. We are the custodians of the Children's Act. And we believe that each child deserves for proper care and protection. So our social workers is out there every day, even after hours, to protect our children. And yes, it's very sad if we look at Delft, what's happening in Delft to our children. But yes, be it as it may, so what we do awareness programs, so we inform, we speak about the rights and the responsibilities of children and adults and of parents. We do programs on children and adolescents with behavioral challenges. We support children once they leave foster care. So after the children turn 18 sometimes, they have to go back. They can't stay in foster care or in CYCCs. So we need to support them to go back into the community. We facilitate reintegration and reunification with families. We do prevention and early intervention programs. Support to families with children in order to strengthen and build the ability to address problems that occur in the family environment. And early intervention programs are provided to families with children identified as being vulnerable or at risk of harm or of removal to alternative care. And enforce legislation that focuses on child safety to bring the best out in our children. So within the children's program, that is our core program, we do have 36 social workers at the Metro North, actually Delft local office. And then we have 36 social workers, yes. That's rendering services to child protection. That's the core business, okay? Then from the 36, we have 2 social workers, dedicated social workers that's been employed to do VEP programs. So last year, the department employed 2 dedicated VEP social workers just for Delft. And what do they do? What we offer there is emotional and practical support to victims of sexual abuse, assistance with the maintenance of trauma, ensuring that people are trained to identify the symptoms of post-traumatic stress, referrals to professional services, providing victims with emergency services, promoting the rights and responsibilities of victims, ensuring that ongoing victimization is prevented and sheltered service. Now, a shelter is a place where those affected by crime and violence are able to live for a period of 1 day up to approximately 3 months, depending on the need. The shelter will assist the basic needs, for instance, a place of safety, protection, food, clothing, emotional support, services such as trauma debriefing and therapeutic counseling, information on developing skills, victims' rights and training, support in preparation of court procedures, programs focused on alleged perpetrators, and gender-based violence prevention programs. Okay, so the shelters, most of the shelters, they just look after the victim of crime. Ne? So we just take the victim with the parent. Okay. So that is what we do, and we do it in partnership with our NGOs. We do have funded NGOs in the community, and even the shelters is funded by the department. It's not run by the department. So in the Delft, we do have a local office based in Voorbrug, on the corner of Voorbrug and Knorhoek, and they open from Monday to Friday from 7:30 until 4, and see new clients on a Monday and a Wednesday. So that is our first call. So if you need social services, they are in the community, and you will see them if it's the first time that you visit the office. Go on a Monday or Wednesday and you will be seen. Thank you.
There we are, ladies and gentlemen. Social development forms such a very important role in our lives. Now we have Ronel Arendse from the Legal Aid South Africa to speak to you.
Thank you very much, Program Director. The leadership knows I respect them and I greet them all, maar dit is mos die jaar van die gemeenskap. I am Ronel Arendse. I'm the head of office for Bellville Local Office at Legal Aid South Africa. Maar ek het groot geword in Elsie's Rivier. It's an absolute privilege for me to have studied and served my own community and communities such as Delft. Now, Legal Aid South Africa, our role is to make access to justice a reality by providing independent, accessible, and quality legal aid services in criminal and in civil matters. So I thought instead of telling you what we do, I'm going to tell you stories about what we've done. So we can assist you in domestic violence matters, maintenance matters, harassment matters, divorce matters, and we've seen so many children go through where we could assist in children's court matters. Now, we have a client that comes into our office. Die man sê vir haar, los vir my en jy sal sien. You won't get access to your child. She comes to us for help. Today we can say, not only are we assisting her with her divorce, we assisted her and her child to go get a protection order because he was abusing them. We get a client, vir jare betaal hy R300 'n maand. Vir jare, die stationery gaan op, die school fees gaan op, maar hy betaal R300 'n maand vir die kind. And if she asks, dan word sy gevloek en geskel. Sy word sommer deur haar mond geklap. We were able to successfully obtain an increase in maintenance. And we were able to get a garnishee order against his salary. That's not the only thing we do. We also have a constitutional obligation to ensure that those that are arrested have a right to a fair trial. En mense dink altyd, legal aid help die mense in die kriminele hof. But you know, I'm so proud of the stories that we get to rewrite. Let me tell you a story about a woman who's charged with murder. Sy het haar boyfriend gesteek. Maar sy vertel vir ons of years of domestic violence, of plates of food getting thrown in her face. She tells us that she's cut off from friends and family. Sy kan met niemand praat nie. So nou sit ons met 'n situation. Sy het nie 'n protection order gekry nie, sy het nie 'n saak gaan maak nie, maar vandag staan sy voor die hof. We need to rewrite her story. Nou voordat ek afsluit, want ons het almal baie min tyd gekry vandag. I want to tell you, legal aid is for free for those who qualify for legal aid. We've got a toll-free line where you can call us. We also have a please call me system, so you can send us a please call me on 079-835-7179 en ons gaan vir u terugbel. Ons is op Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Stuur vir ons 'n boodskapie. Somebody will get back to you. But once a month, we also come to the Delft Health Clinic because it's our responsibility to bring our services out to the community. And today, I've got my team right here with me. So come and speak to us if you need assistance. But I want to end off by saying this. I'm not just a lawyer. I'm a member in a community. Ek is 'n ma van 'n 5-jarige dogter. I need to rewrite her story. My kind ken nie haar plekkie. That of we should know our place is oudtyds. She doesn't know her place. You can ask her daddy. She speaks out. She's raised by a strong woman, and she's going to be a strong girl. Because you see, strong women, we pull up other women. That is our responsibility. We need to educate ourselves in terms of our rights, because knowledge is power. So today, community of Delft, learn your rights, know your rights, share the information, because this is the year of the community. Thank you.
Dames en heren, ladies and gentlemen, kan julle nou sien? Julle praat lekker van julleself, né? It's mooi. And that's the purpose of an Imbizo, is to engage and to bring information to you. And if there is 1 of 10, then it's 1 of 10 that's going to help you. But our plan is for all 10 to help you. Right, so there you are. We are enjoying your energy, but we also have energy for you. Okay, now we want you to stay very calm. Please, we need you to stay very calm. Ek vra julle mooi asseblief. As nou die landers wat gaan praat. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Naik.
Goeiemiddag. Alle protocol observed. Ek het baie mooi geluister na wat elke spreker gepraat het. En ek kan u verseker, my naam is Moraji Naik. U moet dit baie mooi onthou, né? Want ek is die acting senior magistrate vir Belwelhof. U sou opmerk dat daar so 'n paar veranderinge by Belwel plaasgevind so hier vanaf 2019 af. U kom nou hof toe en u kry u interdik dadelik. COVID het dit nou vir ons bietjie moeiliker gemaak, maar u sien 'n landros op die dag wat u kom vir u aansoek vir 'n interdik. Dat het dit nou moeilik gemaak met die COVID situasie, maar u is geregtig om die landros te sien wanneer u die aansoek bring. Nou daar is so 'n paar probleempies hier en daar. Ons sukkel met genoeg howe. Ons sukkel met genoeg personeel om behoorlike diens vir u te lewer. So we need to have discussions to bringing a community court and also the court closer to the Delft community, because Delft have 2 special courts running, or 2 courts, criminal courts running only for Delft matters, and that has changed since 2019. So we now have 2 courts running for the Delft community, criminal courts. But we need 2 family courts running for Delft, because that is the amount of work that this community is generating. We would like to give you proper service. But we also need the community to work with us. We need the community to engage the court, the office manager, the court manager, the area court manager, and the judiciary and the NPA, we need the community to engage with us so that we can ascertain what exactly is it that you require. Change comes from within. Die orkest het vir ons mooi gespeel. Michael Jackson said, if you want to make the change, you need to look at the man in the mirror. So kom ons kyk bietjie in daai spieël, en ek praat nou spesifiek met die mans. Kom ons kyk bietjie in die spieël en ons maak die change. Baie dankie.
Osuke eqongeni ngoku Mr. Nike oyi-acting senior magistrate eBellville. Uthi yena owakhe umsebenzi inoba nimazi abantu abaninzi animazi kuye kwakho utshintsho oluninzi olwenzekileyo eBellville sukela ngo-2019. Into enzeka ngoku xa ufika enkundleni uzofaka isicelo so-interdict udibana nomantyi kwangoloo mini uzofaka isicelo sakho. Xa nangona ke ngoku iingxaki ezikhoyo iinkundla azonelanga, abasebenzi oonobhala abonelanga, kodwa ke ngoku utshintsho lukhona olukhoyo. Njengoba setshilo ke ngoku uyafika enkundleni uzofaka isicelo. Akho mntu ozothi goduka ungafumenanga ukhuselo lakho okanye iphepha lakho okanye i-interdict yakho. Uye uyodibana nomantyi kwangaloo mini. Utshintsho lukhona ke ngeBellville. Qha ke ngoku ingxaki bafuna nina abahlali thethane nabo izidingo zenu yintoni enidingayo ekuhlaleni. Kulapho bakwazi ukuncedisana nabahlali. Bona bahlele ezinkundleni abanalwazi into eqhubeka ekuhlaleni ngaphandleni kwabantu ukuba ekuhlaleni xa bedinga uncedo mabaze ngaphambili, mabazoxela inkundla izidingo abanazo. Kwakunye umuntu obesukile ke ngoku apha eqongeni ibinguRunel osuka kwa-Legal Aid. URunel ke ngoku njengoba benicacisele ke ngoku ungumama okokuqala. Ungumama kumntana oneminyaka emi-5. Umntana akafuni abe nalento abantu baqhela bazazi indawo yakho. Akho mntu oyazi indawo yakho. Xa ufuna uthetha, thetha. U-Legal Aid ngamagqwetha angahlawulelwayo abamela abantu abangenayo imali bangakwazi uhlawula igqwetha. Abancedi nje abantu ababanjweyo, abancedi nje abantu abavela phakathi enkundleni. Unengxaki ufuna ukuqhawula umtshato nomyeni wakho uhlukumezekile endlini nobantwana abahlukumezile, utata uyaphangela, utata akondla abantwana, uyaya kwii-ofisi zabo kwa-Legal Aid. Uyancediswa ngedivorce yakho uqhawula umtshato wakho. Kwala magqwetha kwa-Legal Aid bancedisana nawe ke ufumane isondlo for umntana. Uyakwazi enkundleni xa uyazi uba umyeni okanye utata akho mali azoyinika, baye bayenza into ekuthiwa yiganish. Iganish ke ngoku kulapho itsalwayo imali emsebenzini. Uye wathetha ke ngoku kukho umuntu ikhona ke ngoku ityala belike lamhlukumeza kakhulu apho umuntu ongumama uye wafika kuba eofisini efuna uncedo lo gqwetha lakwa-Legal Aid. Lo mama umangalelwe ebulele indoda yakhe. Okaqala uhlambile indoda nangona bengumuntu obehlukumezeke kakhulu ilo myeni ebehlala naye wade kwafikelela kweso sigqibo soba ke ngokamhlabe. Lo mntu njengebehlukumezekile ke ngokuzange nakanye ayovula ityala esipoliseni, zange nakanye ayofuna i-interdict enkundleni, kodwa u-Legal Aid ukwazile ke ngokuba bangancedisana naye. Loo nto senjengabahlali funeka nizazi amalungelo nawo, learn your rights ke ngoku ayiphelanga nje apha ekuhlaleni ke ngoku. Legal Aid akancedi nje abantu abangamangalelweyo kodwa nohlukumezekayo ke ngoku uyancedwa i-Legal Aid.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much to our interpreter as well. Fantastic. Can we now call from the Correctional Services? We're going to have 2 speakers. We will hear Ms. Dorothy Makuza. Oh, there you are. Thank you. And then I will, in very simple terms, introduce the next speaker. In fact, what I will ask is Ms. Makuza to call the next speaker as well. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much for this privilege, Program Director, Deputy Minister, all DDGs that are here, the community of Delft, Sanbonani. Goeiemiddag. Good afternoon to you. I am from the Department of Correctional Services. I just want to share with you that for the mere fact that we are coming at almost the end tail of the program, it means that that is where we belong. We are on the receiving end of everything else. I want to emphasize that the Department of Correctional Services forms an integral part of the criminal justice system. We are not existing in isolation. And our role is indeed to receive those that have been sentenced by the courts and those that have been incarcerated because they are still under remand. What is important to emphasize is that our primary mandate is to implement the sentences that have been imposed by the courts. And how do we do this? We have to make sure that we incarcerate our offenders under a safe environment. We have to make sure that we treat them humanely. We also have to make sure that we develop them and make sure that they become socially responsible persons by the time they go back to their communities. So it is important to know that at the time of locking them up and throwing away the key is no longer there. The second important area that we need to know is that our department cannot do this job alone. We are mandated by the White Paper on Correctional Services to make sure that we work together as partners with yourselves, the community, because we know that all the ills, the social ills, originate in the community itself. So we cannot alone, as correctional services, believe that we will be able to correct the offending behavior without yourselves. Now, once an offender, including those that have committed sexual offenses, some of them in relation to gender-based violence in particular, there is a journey that they go through within the department. They are admitted into the center. There is risk assessment to check as to how can they be placed or where can be placed in the correctional center, the nature of their crimes also has to be taken into consideration. There is in-depth assessment, we call it in-depth assessment, where we involve the services of specialists, psychologists, social workers, and we also have got abafundis to come and assist. They are part of the rehabilitation part, the journey that this incarcerated and sentenced offender will go through until the time of release. So there is an important area that I want to emphasize, that there are programs within the Department of Correctional Services that are meant to assist in correcting the offending behavior, including the gender-based violence behaviors. What is important to know is that in this journey, we do need your participation. If you are not there, there is no way that you can say by the time the offender gets to be released, then the offender will not relapse into committing the crime itself. So we need your assistance so that social reintegration can have meaning, and we can be sure that by the time the offender is in the community, is not being stigmatized and then relapse into crime because of the emotions that go with being stigmatized. The next area that is important for us to share with you is that with the work that we are doing, we did not thumbsuck it. It is informed by a number of legislation and also the strategic document that Deputy Minister referred to, that's the government strategy on ending gender-based violence, requires us to be actively involved as correctional services. So what we are doing, we have to render awareness programs on gender-based violence to all the offenders. And those that have been convicted for sexual-related offenses, we do in-depth programs making sure that we actually get to know exactly what is it that led them to committing this crime. But we're going through that journey with yourselves as the community. We are partners, isn't it? We are partners in all this that we are going through. You cannot say, now that he is there, we are free. And we know very well that because all the ills are in the community, even the community hurts when there is one or two survivors of this kind of crime that, you know, the survivors of crime are in the community, some of them. Others are in the community, in the correctional center itself. Sometimes you find that there is an offender who, because of the offense that he or she suffered, is in a correctional, is convicted, for example, for murder, but it's because the person was trying to defend themselves from the perpetrator or abuser out there. Now, the abusers come in many forms. There are men and women who are abusers or perpetrators of gender-based violence. But the most vulnerable that we know are women. So I just want to share with you in a nutshell, just in a nutshell, the statistics that we are having in correctional services. The overall population, we have got males and females in our correctional centers. For example, the number of remand detainees that we have in our correctional services added to the sentence offenders, we have got about 3,721. That was as at the 31st of March this year. And then just to share with you the fact that majority of women do not commit heinous crimes like murder or perhaps gender-based violence, but we do have them in our correctional facilities in a minority. The male offenders in our correctional facilities, the sentence, only the male, it's 93,614. And I'm talking about only the sentence. Those that are under remand is 45,606, only the male. And then the total is 139,220. I'm not saying this in percentages so that you can hear it clearly as our communities, because we don't want to create a misunderstanding there. If you know that I'm talking about 139,222 men in our correctional facilities, it means we have a problem somewhere. There is a gap in our community, which means that we do not have the role models who are men to assist in raising up the boy children, to teach them how to become socially responsible, those values and norms of the community that would assist even in ending the scourge of gender-based violence. Let me share with you then just the statistics of the Western Cape province, region. In our cases, correctional services, we talk about the regions, but in the province itself, out of the 24,118 sentence offenders for sexual offenses that we have in our correctional facilities nationally, Western Cape has got 2,789 sentenced, and those that are under remand, out of 6,572, there are 997. These are offenders that have committed sexual offenses only in this area. Not in this area in particular, but in the Western Cape. I remember the Deputy Minister gave the statistics for this area only, but it is important for us to see as to what is it that we are contributing as the community of Delft towards this big number. So we have got a big problem out there, the community. We need to look into ourselves as to how we are raising our families, because every wrong thing, we believe that it starts in the family or in the community itself. So we must wake up ourselves and do the soul searching as individuals, also as the community, to say what is it that we are doing wrong and how can we correct it. As correctional services, we do have got programs that we engage the sentence offenders into. One of them, for example, I'll share a few, of course, with you, that most of them, as we do in-depth assessment, we find that they have got issues of anger. We have got the anger programs that will be rendered by the correctional officials. Some of them are correctional officials who are specializing, like I indicated before. These are professionals, psychologists, social workers, and abafundis. So once we take the offender through this program, we believe that it will assist them in managing their anger. And sometimes the anger comes out in a form of, violating the right of the partners. It may be a female partner or a male partner, or even a partner under the LGBTQIA+ persons. So it does not mean that gender-based violence discriminates. It does not discriminate, it affects everybody, even the children as well. Another program that we render to the offenders is the female offenders programs. These female offender programs also helps to raise awareness also on the rights of women so that they can be empowered and in their own way be able to relate positively with their partners so that we can eliminate the scourge of gender-based violence. You know, all of us, that knowledge is power. If you are not knowledgeable, there is nothing that you can achieve. I'm running through the next one. It is the substance abuse program. The substance abuse program, we have also noted that in our facilities, there are those offenders that have committed these crimes because of gender-based violence because they were under the influence of drugs or substances. So we also assist them in creating awareness and also developing insight on the techniques on how to stop when they have the feelings or they have got the urge to commit these types of crimes. There is also the trauma counseling for the survivors as well as the perpetrators, because we know very well that for every crime that is committed, if you are a normal human being, it is a traumatic experience. So we need to offer trauma counseling to the perpetrators as well as the survivors. Sometimes the survivors are those that are in a correctional facility. We know very well that our environment is such that it's not a normal environment. And at times it happens that you find that within a correctional facility itself, an offender is being raped by another. So it is another form of gender-based violence offense that we also take care of to make sure that we enhance the well-being of everyone and stop the scourge of gender-based violence within our facilities as well. Right, then there is the Sisong Marriage and Family Counseling Program. This program also has got an element of addressing the issues of gender-based violence because we know that in relationships that is maybe of partners, male and female or other, we find that there are issues of gender differences where one of them or perhaps both of them would have a misunderstanding. The next thing, we find that they are at loggerheads. One of them becomes a victim. I beg yours, I think there is a challenge at the corner. There is a need to assist there. Yes, thank you very much for that.
Just wrap it up.
Okay.
Hello. We've sent the lady from health who's a doctor. There's a doctor. So please settle down. The doctor who is here with us is attending to the person that has collapsed. I've been requested that because of time and, sugar levels, that we wrap up because I think we have shared a lot of information from you. So DM and DG, if you are in agreement, we just ask the commissioner just to tie it up, and then we can then take a few questions, and then we can serve you food, because we don't want to keep you longer than necessary. Okay? So, just close it. It's fine.
Thank you very much, Program Director. In a nutshell, I can just share with you that there is a lot of work that happens within the correctional facilities until the offender goes out on parole, if it is parole. But if it is on a stray date, they know it as stray date, then it is also part of our responsibility to refer them in case they need further assistance by the professionals out there. But within the community corrections facilities, we also need your assistance to make sure that reintegration takes place and we do not have relapse of an offender coming back into our facilities. The role of the community cannot be overemphasized. We need you very much. We need you. And without you, we are sure that we can never achieve the ideals of saving the community from the scourge of gender-based violence. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I've promoted myself to the program director because I don't know what happened to my program director. But I think Mr. Isaacs is assisting with the person that has a bit of a problem. All right. So, Deputy Minister, DG, colleagues, we've come to an end on our side, right? I think it's in Nigezile information in, right? So that you know what to do. Now, we want to take our questions, a few, so that we finish, and then we can serve you the food. The food is ready, is waiting for you, all right? So we will take our questions, but if we can't answer our questions, the officials are here, right? The officials, Zikona, they will take your questions. So don't worry, Uguti, we did not answer you. And when you ask a question, please be short, brief, to the point. Don't give us a long story. Asnas card. Okay? Take as omno. Brief and to the point. So I will take a few questions. I will start this side. So I will give numbers E2 and the colleagues and take a few this side and a few that side. Yeah. All right? So Itumeleng is on my left. I'm not sure on the center, Kimang Itumeleng. There'll be other colleagues in the center, so there'll be others. So I'll take 5 this side. You number 1, the gentleman in red, that's 1. So I'll give you numbers. If you can note me there. The gentleman in red, number 1. The gentleman seated down, number 2. The lady next to the tree, number 3. Yourself, lady who's standing up. And then I want another lady. There's a lady seated right at the back, the one who's waving. You are number 4. And then the gentleman in red is number 5. All right. So let's start this side, and then we come this side. We'll take the next 5 this side. All right? So please, Itu, if you could assist us. Number 1, please go.
Thank you, Program Director, and thank you to everyone who's managed to come to the Imbizo. My name is Bongani Makwengwe. I'm a resident here in Delft. In fact, I reside in Delft South, number 10 Silverboom Street. I had a lot of questions, but because of the time and trying to be considerate, I'm just going to raise 3 points that I want to be recorded on this Imbizo. One is that we as the Delft community, we request that if it's not going to be an issue that may be answered today, but it be considered that we need a new police station that must be built in Delft, as the current one is unable to cope with the lot of work that is taking place there. That's the first submission that we want to do. Alternatively, if the resources cannot allow, at least a satellite SAPS center that must be built in that regard. The second point, President Director, is that we need a Department of Justice and Correctional Department to have a satellite center here in Delft. We would love that as a resource center so that we can be able, if it can build a permanent one, let's have a satellite as well for information that we think it's lacking at times. The third point is to have an IPD official that must be stationed here in Delft at least once, if the schedule cannot allow, in every week, so that they can witness and monitor the mistreatment and disservice that is happening in our Delft police station. That is the input that I wanted to submit. The last one, Chair, the Department of Justice must have more of such activities like this one in our community so that we can be educated and learn more. So that as well, the general information that we've received is that we as well as the community must contribute in making sure that we fight crime. But at times, the fact that the justice system only favors those that have money or politically connected will never phase if we see as an itinerary we don't receive proper information. Because, like for example, I will make a typical example. The former president, Jacob Zuma, is fighting all what he wants because he believes that he's got a right to fight the cases that he's facing and challenge the justice system. At some point, I see him as if he wants to delay justice.
Okay,
but it's his own right. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Okay, can we agree, please, one question or comment? Right, let's not be too long. There's number 2, Edu. So those questions mostly for SAPS, please, if SAPS can note them. Number 2, Edu. Thanks.
Greetings, everybody. Thank you for the opportunity. First I want to say thank you to Correctional Services. I'm an ex-offender. I was nearly 21 years and 6 months in the prison. A lot of the tools that I learned while I was in the Correctional Service, I can apply to my life now. I'm nearly 2 decades out of prison. I look at why wait until they go to prison to correct the behaviors? Why isn't there more prevention and awareness and education on the outside before we have to start doing the correcting? If I go back in the apartheid years, I had to change my nationality from white to colored to go into a correctional facility that was housing coloreds. I've got a long relationship with correctional officers still afterwards. But what I do see is, and it's very damaging, I deal with people in addiction recovery now. The labeling and the stigmatizing. I'm nearly 20 years out. I can still not get my record expunged. Every time I go and apply, there's another 5 or 6 pending warrants. I go and hand myself over to the police stations and I tell them, there's pending warrants, here I am. So that is a big challenge for me. Getting employment is difficult with a record. We're trying to make amends, but when are we given another chance? Not a second chance, another chance.
Okay. Thank you very much. So corrections will note that, then the expungements will deal with it as well. Number 3, Edu.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, General Beaton in general. Thanks, General Beaton, for always attending to my complaints in West Bank whenever I needed you. I hope it will continue like that because my passion is in my community and that is where my heart lies. To social development, I think social development must bring back their grassroots of visiting our families and schools because really I'm struggling so many times with social development in my community. There's times that I have to call them 3 or 4 times in a week and not even get one answer. And that is very, it's disgusting. What I want to ask is, why is it that serious, dangerous perpetrators is still releasing out of jail without the consent of the complainant or our community? Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Number 4. Yeah, go back, yes, proceed.
Molweni, bahlali baseDelft, ndibulise iDepartment wokushiyana kwazo. Kakhulu iDepartment of-Correctional Services esibeke salapha. My question, it's not a question as such, but it's a problem. Amapolisa can do their work, I know that. But this problem, case. Most of the cases are Delft. Siqinyiwe. Abantwana babantu, they are unknown. There's no even one person of fighter for London. I'm begging each department, ephethe abecuphi, CIDs guys. Yacela guys. Department, ephethe that department, mayibashukumise. Abantwana babantu baphelile, and the cases is off. Umntwana abantu abulawa kabuhlungu. Abasebenzi, abantu bala department. I'm begging department.
Thank you very much. Good
And then the last one, yes, sir.
Good afternoon, delegates, community. My name is Reginald Hills. I'm a community worker. Also a neighborhood watch of Enough is Enough. I normally call myself Gatful. As the department are saying, I just want to have a question to social development. By speaking Knoruk, I just want to know, why is your office always closed when we really need you? You tell us that you are there for the community, but you are not there. Gender-based violence happens under your noses. Yet you turn a blind eye. You come stand here, you come tell us something, but it still happens under your watch. So we want to know as the community of Delft, because we are now heartful of these things happening within our community, whereas it is growing. People get killed, children get killed. Yesterday we had also the same thing where a 13-year-old child was chased by gangsters outside. We didn't even know what to do. They wanted to kill him with pangas. Now my second question to the SAPS. General Beaton, I do apologize because I know you're already putting your head up. Why is your timing Whenever a crime is being reported, you take your time to come out. You still have that same thing, whereas you still take your time to come within 6 hours of respondents. You haven't changed anything yet. And when they do come, as your police officers, as you try to make them nice, they still come out with attitudes. And we are tired. Especially when the neighborhood watchers, who are the first responders, on your crime scenes get ill-treated and nothing has been done by your department or anybody. You come with favors and you come with a lot of things. We are tired. You change your police station, you change your people here, and give us the right people. If they can't speak Afrikaans, give us one. We respect the language barriers at your police station, but your police station is the downfall of your community where crime is increasing day by day under your watchful eye, and I thank you.
All right, thank you very much. And this is why we come here. We want to hear from you, members of the public.
So, can you help me on this row? Number one, you're number one. Number two, the lady with a paper, you're number two. The gentleman in blue and white, you're number three. The lady who's standing up in black and a jean, you're number what, 4? Number 5 in black, and then the last one, the gentleman number 6 with a black mask.
Okay, so let's start. So we'll answer all the questions together. The officials are noting them. Yeah.
Thank you, Program Director. I won't be wasting your time. I just want to say all protocol observed, Honorable Deputy Minister. My name is Nondumiso Sono. I reside at number 6 Adam Street, Delft South, SAPS. I'm here as a PR counselor in the area. I also want to add to these departments that are here today. Firstly, a few years ago, Department of Justice, under the directorship then of the late Hisham Mohammed, was here in this hall. The theme of that day was the sexual offenses and the maintenance, child maintenance. We issued big checks here after people have been traced who were not paying their maintenance, and this hall was packed like this. Then this community, I personally proposed we need to have a local court in this area, and that was promised. I think that was 2014. Now, later on, the Department of Social Development had an Imbizo there somewhere in Leiden. Promises were made, and we last saw those leaders then. Now, I'm worried today. I'm also going to make proposals and support other proposals. We need a community court in Delft. Be it a satellite, be it a building, be it a whatever, because at that point we even identified a spot down there. We said the department can utilize, even if it's one office, twice a week to come and assist our people up until such time, especially on child maintenance offenses. Now, other Department of Health is saying there's a Tutuzela Center in Kalbrema. And all of you came here knowing very well how vulnerable is this community. How come do I take 2 taxis? Perhaps the issue happens at night, to go to Kalbrema to get a counseling. Why the services are not brought to the community? You are saying you are bringing government to the community, but you are bringing lip services to this community. And also, when you talk of those things that could come, I don't hear any one of you saying, if the courts are here, so many job opportunities will be opened in this community. And yet, you are all crying of the staff shortages in all these departments that have presented here. Now, why are we called in such Imbizos? Because my understanding of Imbizo is for the community to express themselves, make proposals, and promises come to the implementation part. Today, we are sitting here, we are raising an issue of a girl child that was killed. And yet, what are we going to do thereafter? Nothing. Nothing. So, in the police station here, I'm told, there used to be a trauma center for victims 24 hours and a comfort room. Today, we are told it's only open for 2 days a week. Where did that service go to? We need those services in this area. And our community members are allowed to stand in the rain at the police station due to COVID, perhaps. But if you go to N1 City to pay a DSTV, you find a tent so that people can queue inside the tent due to COVID. Why can't it be done in our community? At the clinic next door here, it's been a long issue. People are queuing outside from 4 to be told you're going to see the doctor next week on a particular date. Why are there no other alternatives to take care of our people? And when you say you give services to people, you must give a better service and a proper service. Here there are monies also in the city that are irrecoverable. Whilst we are crying of a staff shortage, whilst we are crying of the facilities that are supposed to be brought to our communities. I mean, something is wrong somewhere. I think lastly, to the Department of Justice, I want to propose, bring back the court assessors. Because at the time of the court assessors, you will be able even to get a sense of the victim or of the perpetrator, even before you issue a sentence. You get a predicament of a particular person. Because at some point, you give a sentence to someone who is actually innocent. And that particular person goes and sits in jail for so many years until Messiah comes to bring truth on the table. And lastly, Chair.
Lastly, final.
Finally, but I'll follow up with other issues because I've got a long list. I don't want to bother with it. The time of response when we call police is very vital. In my own street, a person died. I called police at 10. These people are fighting and they are stabbing each other. No, we are coming. When I phone, no one is injured already. 6 p.m., one has been stabbed to death, then the police comes. I don't know whether you deal with cops or you deal with issues of the community. So I want also to say the turnaround when we call police, and when you come to the community, don't say Councillor Sono called me, because my life is going to be in danger also. Thank you.
Okay, we allowed her a lot of questions because she's a community development worker, so she's pulled many of the issues. Number 2. All right, proceed.
Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. Yes, the council already, a lot of issues that I actually wanted to raise. But I'm actually the chairperson of the Delft Senior Forum, right? And my concern is actually the seniors. I agree everything what the council is actually indicating. Because I mean our seniors, they are suffering the most. And especially when it comes by children or grandchildren abusing them. You understand? And if they want to come to the police station, she's a go-go, she don't look nice, go home, and things like that. You understand? So I feel that the Justice Department must also look into this matter, where it comes by the old people, where it comes by the disabled people, and a lot of people are actually suffering. So please, I can talk about, because I stay now in Delft for 34 years, right? And our place is no more an area. Our place is a city. Our place is a city. And this police station is too small to accommodate all our people in this community. You understand? It's too small. And similar with social service. That place is too small to accommodate all our people in this community. But that is not the issue when it comes by the justice, but I think the justice minister can go pass this message over, right? The similar with SASA is our worst nightmare. That is our worst nightmare. Those old people, the pensioners, the disabled people have to stand up 2 o'clock in the morning to go sit there by SASA. And the thing is this, they come the first day, but then the people, they give the people appointment, and then the people must come the next day. Please sort that thing also out. The similar with home affairs. Why? Why must the people stand in the queues? And especially where some of the grandmothers have to look after their grandchildren who doesn't have an ID. No, you must wait. Wait in the queue. Disabled, you must wait in the queue. There must be special treatment for these people. Please, thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Number 3, the gentleman.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Vivian Boyce, and I'm a student at CPUT. So last year we participated in a competition, and we were one of the winners for our mobile application. So our mobile application would be gender-based violence. And this year we participated in another competition for CPUT, and we'll be going to Sandton for the regional competition, and that would be in July. So my question for the panel today is that where would we as students then gain support as funding for our initiative that we are trying to implement? Because it's all good and well, everybody saying gender-based violence, and we're having the meetings, but when people come with ideas or their proposals, then they just stonewalled and with a whole bunch of red tape. So my question is, I would like to know, how would we as students then apply for this support, and how do we get funding for our business applications or our business ideas? And another question is that lady said here that I think there's a problem at one of the schools, something about the gate closing too early or something like that. Poor barangay or something, yeah. Yeah, there's like a lot of children that's not being allowed into school or something like that at 8 o'clock in the morning. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. All right, number 4 and 5.
Hello, everyone. My name is Pelisa Krishe. I'm staying in Area 15. I've got a question. At the same time, it's not a question, it's my concern because I relate to that story. I want to ask the general, whatever, from SAPS department, do you take note that the police officials are the one who are the abusers? We got married to the police guys, but they are the one who are doing the abuse to us. Do you take note of it? And whenever we go to police station to report that matter, it's taken otherwise. You are called aside to talk it in a slight and polite way. don't jeopardize your man's career. What about me? I'm dying inside. What about me? Now I have to be in that marriage because I'm scared this man is going to lose this career, and at the moment I'm not working. I'm relying on him. With everything, please consider these things because we are dying each and every day. I relate to this story because I'm the victim of that. And I changed the story to be the abuser. Please take that matter serious. Thank you.
Thank you. Number 5, and then the last one.
Mandibulise kubahlali ngaphambili nakubantu bakahulumende bonke abakhoyo. Ndibulele kuqala ngoba nikhona abantu bakahulumende bathi siva kabuhlungu ngoba singabantu abatsha balapha eDelft. Most yethu asifumenanga nethenda even namhlanje. Kuthiwe kukho into esiparticipate ngayo abebheke kwizinto ezenziwayo. Kodwa singabahlali nethi i-high employment ininzi kodwa asiqashwanga ngoku. Okay, oya number endiya kuwo kakhulu kuwe sister wakwa health uvele nomba we-2 taxis. Yethi thina apha eDelft sima apha phandle, pregnant not pregnant, old not old, sima ngapha kweyadi silinde onesa bafika past 7. Thina sitywishe at 4 o'clock. There is no shelter. I-parking ekhoyo apha esibhedlele ikho for imoto, not abantu. Sicela ubuza funeka sife kangakanani nathina abantu bamnyama ize urhulumente wethu athathe note. Sihleli apha eDelft sibukela abantwana abancinci abatsha bebulawa because asiyiboni visibility yamapolisa. Funeka uthi ulifowunele ipolisa why amapolisa engazi ukuthi azise service kwi-community yethu. Enkosi umhlali ngaphambi.
Okay, so is the last one on this section? You're the last one. Yeah, proceed. You're the last one there. Yeah, you can speak.
Thank you very much. First of all, I want to salute all the females present in this world today. I want to salute you. And I want to thank the ones that took the initiative to make this day happen. I know some people are going to crucify me for saying this, but I also want to thank the good men and women in blue that are doing their utmost best and that are doing a great job here at Delft Police Station. This goes to the general sitting there. I want to know that why is it that here at our police station, the community have to come and go to community workers because they are too scared to go to Delft Police Station and to work with some, not all, some of the detectives at Delft Police Station. It is so bad that we as the community leaders out there have to take people out of Delft to blue downs where people must go give statements there because statements are disappearing at Delft Police Station. Secondly, my second concern is when perpetrators are being apprehended and they appear at court, now you go and we as the community, we assist the police and the good work that the detectives does. There's some very good detectives at this police station, and I can attest to that. Now, you draw up the memorandum, you draw up the petitions, you mobilize the community to go to court and protest there, only to find out that the prosecutors inside court are telling us outside not to protest because it will damage the cases. Now I want to know, sorry for my language, what rubbish are that? Because according to my knowledge, it is your right to protest outside court. Now, when you do all these things, then only to find out that the perpetrators, the murderers, and the fools are roaming our streets again, without even us or the detectives knowing that they got bail.
All right, that was the last one. A2 and the team, I want to go that side. Right? I'm taking the last 5 that side. Right. Okay, so that we can answer. Number 1, the lady here, ma'am, in a white scarf, you're number 1. The lady in, the gentleman in gray, number 2. Number 3. Yeah, no. Number 3. Number 4, and then number 5. We're done. Yeah.
No turning bandages. We've got victims. I am Joanne Kibido from Blakkiesdorp. I'm a community worker. I was joining our neighborhood watch also. But due to SAPS neglect their duties to protect our people in our community. How many people have died? The forensic just come, police come. It is just in the car or in the back. And for there, I don't have to be asked for a witness. I am the witness. Police come and sit by our Wi-Fi's. Forget about the crime that happens in our community. Our bodies people being shot at night. The body being found on the pavement. Nobody knows. But tomorrow you see here, they sit again by the Wi-Fi.
Okay.
Social grant. Now I'm talking about experience. And Michelle, I'm sorry to say this. I'm a foster parent now for 7 years. And I'm a safety parent for 12 years. There's no justice to foster parents. There's no justice to safety parents. You work out of your own pocket to raise that child. You get no support from social workers. You talk about 37 social workers.
All right, I think
Now,
you've got the
comrade,
point.
this is very important for us as women that support social development. Children roaming around on our streets. We take them to Kunoruk. They've been sent back again to the streets. You find tomorrow morning their bodies lying there. I'm a parent. Your child is my child. We need facilities in Delft that protect and that occur to our people. Look at our disabilities in Blakkiesdorp. They need to walk to Symphony Way. They need to walk to Delft Police Station or to Delft Day Hospital Clinic. They come there, they got worse. That person doesn't live even for 2 months anymore. And our housing, this is my last statement. The housing, Blakkiesdorp is supposed to be a temporary education. Justice is not concerned there. People, I am one of the beneficiaries that's been told now the other day, you're not on that list of project anymore. Why? I am a worker. I'm a leader in my house. I'm a leader in my community. And I will be a leader of all of you who don't do your work.
All right. Thank you very much. The gentleman, you are number 2. We need to speed it up. You're number 3, lady, 4, 5, then we're done. Yes, sir.
Greetings, the program director.
and the panel of leaders. This is not a joke. You come to this community in a very right time that we need you. In your logo 2022-23, the year of the community, make that the rerach, not a joke. And I'm giving, because I'm covered by other speakers. I'm Bonan Bolegwa, a member of zonal task team in Sanko. I'm also part of the neighborhood watch in Delft. I've got a head of in the CPF. We know what is going on. But as community, we must stand together. It can't be police alone. When our brothers and sisters, they are selling drugs, but on the road too. It can't be correct. Our brothers and sisters, they are drug dealers who are quiet. It's our responsibility equals to the police. Comrade. Number two, at the end of the community, I don't want to take the, I don't know this thing called clinic here or what is it over the road. Department of Health, the lives of this community comes first. If you don't know that, you go to Constantia, you go to Planet Roof, Temples of Mountain, Shadows, Sipon Waterfront, you will see better service, but this nonsense I see here. Remove all the vehicles there in that park and make sure the community, they see like this, while at least they are waiting for service. I demand that one now. I'm also saying all the neighborhood watch must stand up. Neighborhood watch must stand up. All. You see? Justice Minister Lamula, Ronald, you see? The president of the country, Sir Ramaphosa, these women and men, they wake up early in the morning, not the hours, and late, without getting nothing, any doubling, any cent. We are demanding they must be paid at least a stipend of 5,000 rand. That cannot be much. Please, guys, because if you care about this community, we are talking about crime here and criminals. Better demand the man.
All right, can you then finalize?
Lastly, I want now, Program Director, to get an email to the Minister and the President. I've got 28 things here. I won't finish now. Demand of Delft. Delft is the poor of the poor. Also, I'm giving you 21 days to report back to this forum. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, thank you very much. Lady, you are number 3. And let me just say, colleagues, we have the officials there for more details like emails, telephone numbers. We have all the officials there. Yes, ma'am, proceed.
Thank you very much. I am Muriel Sotashe. The lady who was killed is my sister. I am tired of crying. Each now and then we are getting complaints, killings, every single day there's death. 4, let me pause there, because it's done. SAPS General, I'm talking to you. How sure are you that you can protect us? Because me, I for one was turned down by this police station. I was staying way in 14. on that side. I didn't in suburban. I didn't have a house then. Now I'm staying in my own house by 24. The problem is this. I, for one, was sent away from this police station by one of your men. I actually did complain about I was abused by my boyfriend. And the policeman who did talk to me told me that you are not dead yet. Sissy, please go home because we are busy with important things. Whereas my boyfriend was chasing me around with a hammer. So I just want you to let me know, how can you assure us from these evil men? Some of them, I'm not saying all of them, but how, can you assist us? How can we feel safe in our community? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Number 4. Yes, please.
Afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Marisha Kanamaya, and I reside in Belhar. So today I am going to speak on behalf of the Belhar community, and I want to raise my concerns on behalf of Belhar. I don't know who is here also from Belhar, but I want to raise this question today to the DSD officials. And I want to know who is the coordinator or the person who always excludes Belhar when it comes to opportunities, when it comes to workshops, when it comes to funding. Belhar is always excluded. And I want to raise that question today. For how long are you going to continue to exclude Belhar? DSD does not recognize Belhar as a vulnerable community. How did you get that right? Have you completed a survey? Or how did you come to that opinion or statement that Belhar is not a vulnerable community? Hence, we always fall short of opportunities, of facilities. We always fall short of that. My question to the minister would be, what are you going to do about that? Belhar does not have any of the facilities that was mentioned here today. None. We have a police satellite for nearly 2 decades now. A police satellite. We need a proper police station in Belhar that will offer services to rape victims, that will offer services to abuse victims. We need that. I'm also a pastor. I am sick and tired of pacifying people with the words that we will pray about it. Long gone are the time of just praying and doing nothing about that. Because the Bible says that prayer without work, that faith without work is dead. We need to take action on behalf of our communities. We see these things, we are kind, we do not want to address it because we must consider the job of our pastor. We must consider the job of our police officer. We must consider the job of our ministers. So how long is this going to continue? How long are you going to turn a blind eye? Are you like me who only pray and go do home visits when there is a request? Are you like me where you will just talk and come and bring promises and then hide again into your closets? What are you going to do? We are supposed to be accountable for what is happening in our cities. We cannot hide it from one another anymore. And I want to know from DSD, and I need an answer from you, because this is a a fight that's been coming on for very long now. I want to know from you, how will Belhar community access or obtain these services? How? What are you going to do about it? How long are we going to see and hear what's happening around us, but we, the Belhar community, are excluded? We have problems with our health services in Belhar. We have problems with our police services in Belhar. I had an engagement with one police constable who engaged me when I assisted one of our community members. But after reading what she has written down, after taking the notes of the complainant, she made up her own story when the complainant went to give her affidavit. And after me reading what's written on that affidavit, she said to me, who is the complainant? You or her? Go take your seat. Because I was the wise one. I was the smart one. And this woman couldn't defend herself.
All right, thank you very much.
So that is my plea to you today, sir. Please consider to bring these services, these opportunities to Belhar.
Thank you very much. Then I take the last one. So it's yourself and then, all right, so it's two people left. All right, go ahead, proceed, ma'am. Ma'am, you've got the mic, so it's your chance.
Okay, thank you. My name is Mandisa Petrus Edwards. I'm one of the activities of Delft. You know, I've been standing, waiting and waiting because, you know, I've got now anger because there's a lot of issues that I wanted to elaborate. And most of speakers already been covered. I won't dwell so much. I take also this opportunity to come to Delft. In Delft, we are being victimized. When there's shooting, we're no longer running away. When there's shooting, the kids, they want to see exactly who's shooting there and who was shot dead. Because that shooting is already normal in our bodies, which is something that was not supposed to happen. I'll elaborate more on the issue of justice. We don't have justice, we've got injustice in Delft. And as activities, when you see injustice, you always have that anger. Sometimes other people, they don't understand when you always have anger. You have anger of injustice, of things that's supposed to happen, of justice that's supposed to happen that doesn't happen. And there was a woman here in Delft killed by a husband. Husband coming out from Kailicha to kill a woman here in Leiden, in front of her sister, in front of the sister's husband, in front of the kids. I understand. And the sister's husband was having blood. When he was pulling the knife for the last time, he saw all those evidence. But still, SAPS is still investigating. The detective is still investigating for what? Enough evidence, enough witnesses. And the perpetrator came out on bail to come and kill again. The perpetrator is even outside by now. The case is still continuing. I was in Bevel Court on the 12th of April. We were there to support the family. How can he be released on bail There's enough evidence. There's enough witnesses. Why? 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 And now he's harassing the sister as is a witness. Want to kill the sister now. Because it's outside. Now, even during COVID, there's a lot of murderers who came out. They said the jail is full. How to come and kill again? Come to kill and kill again? Even in my own area, it's very dangerous. There was a murderer who came out during COVID. And one of them, as is out during his release, he came out, he killed 5. He killed 5.
Okay, Sisi, I think let's conclude.
And in the issue, I think the justice system is giving the criminals a right. Why is it giving the right to the criminals? Not to the community. Why for? Coming to my case, in my case, they were Avanza taking my stuff out of my house. My child of 16 years, she was alone at home. She said they came and knocked, there was a knock. He went to the front to open. He opened the door, the gate was locked. The 3 was in front. Already the 2, they went to the kitchen door. Came in while he was standing in front. They came in with guns. One took her to sit down next to her. One went to all the rooms. He came to tell this one, no one is in the house. Then this one said, remove whatever you want to remove. They took my laptop, they took my TV, a lot of stuff. Then my child opened a case. We went there, she opened the case. After she opened the case was on. But what my request is, the senior prosecutor, Van Veek, in Delft court, he must be removed. He must be removed.
Okay. All right, Sisi.
Coming to,
can you?
I just want to say one thing.
Yeah, but Sisi.
Because there was enough evidence, everything. He gave the file to the other prosecutor that my case has been withdrawn. I asked why is it been withdrawn?
Sisi, can I, Sisi ngiyacela nengo, I know it's painful. Commander is here, akahambi, so uzawukwazi ukuthetha naye. No, can I, Sisi?
Okay, I will finish now. I will finish now. You know what happened? They said my case has been withdrawn. After they said my case is withdrawn, I was revolted. I went back. I said, I want to accept that because they steal my stuff. They are there. There's witness. There's everything. After that, I said, I'm taking this case to provincial level. From provincial, I'm going to national level. After that, he took my file to his office. He brings the case back to appear. Now the case is on.
Okay.
What if I was not
all
reported?
Right. Okay. All right. So, Sisi, ungahambi ne? The commissioner is here. He's going to attend to your matter. Ungahambi. All right. So we take in the last one, and then the DM will then summarize the issues. All right. That's the last one.
Bambi. Tete. Dungokuzora maneli. Andiboni. Ndicela malizo. Ndihlala ndihlala ka-3640. Ndibethelwa ngamatye ezisikoli phandle lali. Ndihlala notata ongabonisi babili kapha kulali. Number 2 kulali ndanikwa indlu erongo. Lando neempompo ziyavuza, nesiki ziyavuza, netoilet ziyavuza. Nebhabhu yavuza, ndiyasokola kungena amanzi namacanga apheli kungena amanzi. ngena amanzi angena nasezikamereni ndicela amancedo ndiyacela kakhulu amancedo ndiyasokola imali amenkamka mandiyiboni ndihambe ndiboleka imali ezizalayo iphele esithubeni ndicela amali neefestile zam ziyophuka zaphela neefestile yocango amacango alo aphuma iifestile abolile ndicela amancedo ndandile kulaa ndawo andandibephelelayo ibram andiboni kathiwa mandizilungiselele apha ndandihambe nomntu ndandimcela
Okay mama, sikuvile. Sizathi abantu bakwa-housing nabakwa social development bazokunceda ngendlu yakho wena notata. Sikuvile mama.
mama ndincede ndicela amanzi amanzi angena napha ekamareni
Sikuvile mama. Sikuvile mama. Sizakunceda. Okay. So members of the community, I'm pleading with you. Ukuthi sinvile, we've heard your problems, we are going to attend to them. So Deputy Minister, being the political head, A2, will direct ukuthi sihamba kanjani. He will try and summarize the issues, and then the issues amaphoyisa, DSD and all that. Abantu bakhona there, they're going to stay behind so that they can give you answers and follow up to your questions. Enkosi, DM.
Thank you very much, Mr. Malema. And thank you to everybody for the questions that you asked and the views that you expressed. I'm sorry that we weren't able to hear from everybody, but we also have to manage time. Just a few of the issues, or there were with justice, there was an issue on expungements of records. Just to explain that if you weren't sentenced to imprisonment without the option of a fine, you can get your record expunged within, if 10 years have passed and you haven't been convicted of any other offense. It's 5 years if you were a child when the offense was committed. And if you don't qualify for that, then you've got to try for a presidential pardon. You can also apply for that. It's a balancing act between, yes, we know it restricts people's ability to get employment, but there's also the issue of the employer needing to know what kind of person are they employing. So it's a balancing act. I don't think we've got it right now, but it's something we're still working on. Then the issue of bail came up. And I just want to say that bail is about whether the person will be available to stand trial and whether they will interfere with witnesses. It is not about whether the person is guilty or not guilty, but it is a factor. If the case is not strong against the person, then they're more likely to get bail. I don't see anything wrong with people protesting against bail, but remember, it's not going to be the protests that cause the person not to get bail. It's going to be the judicial officer, usually the magistrate, who's got to look at the evidence. We have made the laws tighter about getting bail. In the past, the state had to prove that you shouldn't get bail. Now, in the more serious cases, it's the accused who's got to explain why he should get bail. But each case needs to be dealt with on a case-by-case basis because every case is different. So when you have complaints about the way a case has gone in court, please take it up with us so that we can look at what happened in that case. Why did the person get bail? Even though the NPA opposed it, why did the magistrate give bail? We can find out what went wrong and whether there were any problems. So those were the more general ones. Then also the CPUT student. It's something I think we need to engage with outside in that it would depend on what are the projects or what are the activities you're wanting to look at as far as needing funding from. Generally, it's DSD, social development, that has funds. But there's also funds in other departments, but it depends on the project. Then, as far as there were a lot of complaints about the police, we're going to have the general and I think social development responding, or having the opportunity to respond because they had most of the complaints. Let me just say from my side that I will brief the Minister and the Deputy Minister of Police and the Minister and Deputy Minister of Social Development. So I will be taking up their issues with them. There was also a general problem where you are complaining about the resources that you are getting in Delft. And in fact, it wasn't just Delft, it was Belha as well. And yeah, I mean, those are, we need to look at that. The problem is, I mean, there was an issue with Delft around the Tutuzela care centers. We've got 4 in Cape Town. We've got it Belleville, Karl Bremer. We've got it Khayelitsha. We've got it Mannenberg. We've got it Atlantis. So, sorry? Oh, yeah, no, I was talking about Cape Town. There's some a little bit, there's Worcester, there's Paarl, etc. But in Cape Town, in the metro, it's 4. So we do have to look at, but Karl Bremer we know is the busiest. So we do need with the NPA to look at whether we can expand to other areas. They are looking at 2 additional TCCs. But the issue of resources, yes, it's something we need to look at, but you also need to see that you are in a metro where there's a lot of people. But the other point then I wanted to make is, this is not, I think somebody had asked, was this meeting a joke where we engage with the community? No, it's not. We're serious. We want to hear from you, and we don't want this to be a once-off. So the one thing from my side that I would want to do is, it's difficult convening meetings like this very often, but that we should look at DG and other officials having a follow-up with different community-based organizations that are working in this area, in Delft, in Belha, in surrounding areas, where we can try and get into more detail about the problems that you're having with government services and what can be done about them. So that's my general overview. I think then if the General can just respond on the police, but broadly, and then also for social development to give you an opportunity to respond because there were a lot of complaints there. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you for the questions. I think as SAPS we must be allowed to be criticized. I think people have the right to criticize us, so we treasure that. That is how we gauge our service. The new police station at Delft. Someone said earlier on, Delft is a city on its own. It is. Delft is massive. It's expanding at a rapid rate. There's a population explosion taking place in Delft. So the outcry is there, and we acknowledge that. But however, at this stage, what we are doing is we have additional deployment from the provincial office and national every day and night in Delft. That's additional to the resources that they do have. So at this stage, if you look at our priority list at the province, there is other stations that where there's satellites which require new police stations. So in terms of the priority list, Delft is not on the priority list for new police station, but obviously it is a priority, and I will inform the provincial office accordingly. The slow response. Okay, you must now listen to me. Okay, can I get your attention? Okay, because you asked me a question, I must respond. The slow response. We have what we call the reaction time of our members. So the Alpha, Bravo, and the Charlie complaints, more serious complaints, Alpha complaints must be attended within 15 minutes. So we also track these cases, and the attendance is on the system. So as soon as a member stands off, we can then ascertain when he received it and when he stands off and when he gives feedback. So we also have AVL system, each vehicle is tracked, so we do address those cases where they don't reach the target. And the station commander, Brigadier De Moy, is having sessions with those people that don't reach the target. The bad attitude of our members, I said earlier on that I don't stand for that. It must be reported because action is taken. Just ask many of these members at Delft and in this cluster, how many of the members were charged and how many were dismissed by my intervention and by the station commander. We dismiss them if they are corrupt. And if the service is poor, we deal with them. There's disciplinary hearing that we have with them, and we charge them. The VP room is open 2 days. I can't believe that. It's open 24/7, so I'll also go myself and do spot checks. It's not on. If that's the case, I'll have discussions with the station commander, but I don't think that is the case. And there's also volunteers. SAPS members that are assaulting their partners, no one is above the law. So irrespective of what is your rank, if you commit a crime, you must pay. So SAPS members that refuse to take those cases, you are more than welcome to phone me also. I can give my number if you want. Okay, can I give it? Do you have a pen? 082 850 9722. 082 850 9722. You can phone me 24/7. You can phone me 2 o'clock in the morning. I pick up my phone. I think many of you know that. Yeah, my phone is on. And I tell my people also, I don't speak to voicemails. If I phone you, you must pick your phone up because it's a state phone. Okay, you can try that. So why must a community go to other communities and they don't come to SAPS? I have a problem with that. So those members of the community must come see me and the station commander because SAPS is there to render a service. It's not for you to go to other members of the community. You must come to us, and we are obliged to serve you because we are public servants. The lady that spoke about Blikkiesdorp is a massive challenge. So we have the sector commander is busy with operations there. We also have the neighborhood watchers there in Blikkiesdorp. Okay. Brigadier De Moy, the members that sit there to get the Wi-Fi, deal with them. Deal with them. So I want feedback on that. Okay. Bella is not a satellite police station. Where's the lady of Bella? Bella is a fully fledged police station. The only challenge with Bella, it's very small. And Bella is on our priority list. It is prioritized. So we take note of that. It's a very small police station. Yeah, I think that's about it. Thank you very much.
There we are. Ladies and gentlemen, ons is nou amper daar, so die mense is honger, hulle is nou besig om moeg te word. But you stay important. Okay, now, it's all right. Oh, you want to say something? No, come. So now we have one of our second last speakers, third last speakers. 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 2 minutes. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, yes, we take cognizance of the challenges that you have with DSD. Sorry. Okay, we take, I listened to the queries that you had about DSD, but I want to tell you that within each of our offices, we do have a customer care office and we do have a complaints box. So if you're not happy with services, put it in writing and put it in that box, okay? Then, okay, can you just give me a minute? Okay. Sorry, I'm sorry if you now receive bad services, but that is not what is supposed to be. Government, from our side, we do our best. Our staff is on the roads every day, they even work after hours. But be it as it may, as I said, yes, we do have a problem with children with behavioral problems. It's real. And the CYCs, they also they're in the process of cutting on the accommodation. So that's a real crisis for us as social workers, and especially for a community such as Delft. So I have to take it back, and we have to work around this. The issue with safety parents, we would welcome each and every person that's prepared to take a child into your house, because that is real. We remove children because the situation is so bad. But where do we take the children to? And it's difficult to take teenage children and put it in another house. That is real. So if you are interested in becoming a safety parent, you can come to us and come and bring your details. We will then contact you. For those people with challenges with safety parents' fees and foster parent grants, you can come and give your contact details. Then we can see how we can address it and speak to the social worker that's responsible. Thank you.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Ms. Marshall from Social Development. I think what's important is that your concerns have been raised. It's been raised in capital letters, and we will ensure that every department receives the concerns, because when we come back, they must have said we've done X, Y, and Z. Okay, now, ladies and gentlemen, we have 2 speakers left. We have our Director General of the Department of Justice. That's the man with the money.
Molweni, I see we are tired. It has been a long day, so I'm not going to take long so that we can go and get lunch. But Program Director and the Deputy Minister, the National Commissioner of Correctional Services, and the colleagues, We want to take this opportunity and appreciate you as a community. You are a very vibrant community. The way you are so tempting, we may want to come here every weekend. But I know that is not possible. Now, as a part of a way forward on our part, as the DM has already said, this is not a joke. We take this serious and we take you serious. So part of what we will do, our provincial office here that Mr. Rodney Isaacs is leading, will make sure that they come back to engage with the community structures that are here. Congratulations to Ili Talabantu for your 30 years of existence. Because I can see it, DPSA and the others, I don't know for how long you have been in existence, but that 30 years looks so attractive. So we will do that. The colleagues will come back, particularly to also deal with the issues that Ronelle Arendts raised, and she became popular here with you about know your rights, know your rights. So they will come back with her to deal with your rights. The packs that you got as a copy of the Constitution that contains your rights, Chapter 2, the Bill of Rights. So it's very important that we come back and engage with you. And the DM has already raised this issue, that within the year, we won't be gone forever. We'll have to come back at some points, maybe after 6 to 7 months, to do a review of what will have happened since then from all of us, different organizations. But this will include, we will continue to work with the Justice and Crime Prevention Cluster, together with the police and all of us and correctional services, to make a follow-up on the issues that you have raised. The other issue that our colleague is said to have made a promise some years ago, we're going to look into it. We have taken note of your concern that you do need services of a court here. So I won't make a promise and say we'll bring a periodical court in a month or in 2 months. But it's a matter that we have noted and taken serious note of it, and we'll deal with it within the broader context of looking at services that we must provide generally to Cape Town, and we'll work on a plan. And as the team comes back, they will let you know about the steps that we'll be taking going forward. I'm sure Janine is still around. You were up in arms when Janine was talking about a post that was vacant at the Tutuzela Care Center. We got a confirmation with Nicolette that by June, that post of a victim support will have been filled. So that's very important, because I saw how you reacted, felt like you were not doing our part. So that post will be filled. But in the main, we have taken care of the issues you have raised, and we can only have more sessions. So the commitment from us will be that the department will come back with more sessions that are specific. You know, we have the services of the family advocate. We didn't get an opportunity to present about that. Maintenance issues, we didn't get an opportunity to present about that. You know, processes for application of protection orders and so on and so forth. The general services of the Department of Justice, estates administration and all of that. So we'll have these sessions at least on regular basis, so that by the end of the year, if we have done 3 to 4 sessions, I think that would be very helpful, including with the nearby schools here around Know Your Rights. Know Your Rights.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so we now at the end of the program. And I'm sure that a very important person would also like to speak to you. We're calling up all 3 councillors. That's going to be represented by Councillor Pumla. Please, ma'am. We will then do the thank you remarks.
Thank you very much. Aibo. Thank you very much, Program Director. The day was long. It was long. Firstly, you see the three of us. We are not three. We are female ward councillors for Delft. Councillor Tause, Councillor Masiu, Councillor Matutu, Councillor Adonis. The reason why I'm saying this effort was made by these 4 councillors. The program is in Delft. We are councillors in Delft. Yes. I'm sorry to say that, but I want people to know we are your representatives in the government. All right. Ours is short, is to thank you. Deputy Minister, your office, Correctional Services, protocol observe. Community, you are very important to us. I want to thank all of you, everyone who came here, who came and make this event, this Imbizo, possible for today. It was cold, but you came in numbers. We want to thank you as these councillors of all these wards. Thank you very much, Deputy Minister, to make us proud in Delft and hope everything that has been said here is going to be made possible for this community. We are bleeding as this community. So many things are happening in this community. So we are trusting and we are hoping that everything that has been said by this community is going to be done. Is going to be done. And as these women with the program itself, GBV, we are here for you. We are here for you, community of Delft. As these women, this speaks to us. This speaks to us. Thank you very much. I think, comrade, you...
Protocol observed. Our director, our national commissioner, thank you so much for making us Delft proud. I hear that you said that you launched this in Delft. We are so proud. All 3 of us, with the one that is not here, we are proud that you came here. Just being here alone is very important to us. I want to say to the woman out there, I want to say to the men out there, make a change today, not tomorrow. I want to say to a woman today, you are a woman before you became a female. I want to say to a woman, you are a rock to the mountain. I want to say to the women out there, you are that water that everybody thirsts for outside there. I want to say to the woman, you are stronger than you were yesterday. I want to say to the woman, whatever circumstances that you are in today, they've given you the roots. Now you use it. You rise above all. I want to say to the woman, I've heard what you've said, woman, when you say that your man works for SAPS, that nobody listened to you. Today it ends right now. We are here for you. I want to say to the woman who speaks about the rape that she has seen, I want to say to the leaders that have said that they've spoken to the SAPS and nothing has been done. Today we hold hands together and we make it possible. Today we say that igama labakhosikazi malibongwe, wathinta abafazi, wathinta imbokotho. I want to say one lastly to men. Men, if you look around Delft, the only councillors that are in Delft is women. So we're coming for you. Thank you.
Goeiemiddag. Goeiemiddag, julle mense. Good afternoon, everyone. Molweni nonke. Apha ke sibekelwe abatoliki apha sibekelwe interpreters ziyabhatalwa bethuna nafuna zihlale nje. Yeah, now I would like to request you, my community, to speak closer. Then our interpreter, they're gonna interpret what I say. Sorry for that. Manbulise with Department of Justice. Mandibulise ku minister, ku deputy minister wethu. Ndibulise ku official zonke ziphela ne interpreters zethu. Ndifuna ukuthi namhlanje Department of Justice sibamba ngazo zozibini. Ndibamba ngazo zozibini nalama khosikazi zingabi nejuju. Siswele amaphiko okubhabha. Siswele imilomo eliwaka xa nithe nafumana elithuba lokubana ngaba nisibize nize kuthi nisivakashele malunga nengcelo nokucinezeleka kwethu ekuhlaleni. Khona ukuze nive izimvo zethu ukuthi sawuthini na ukuze siphume kule meko sikuyo. Sibulela ukuxabiseka kwethu Department of Justice ngoba ukuza kwenu nizosivakashela ibonisa ukuxabiseka kwethu. Siyabonga ke ngoba izimvo zethu nizicholachole nade nacholachole nezexegwazana ebesingazi singabakhansila into okubana ngaba ikhona imeko enje. Esizokubulela ke Department of Justice si-advisor abahlali. Esiyanicebisa abahlali ukubana ngaba xa ninengxaki ekuhlaleni ezikomiti zikhoyo kwi-area nge-areas zezokucholachola ingxaki ezifana nezikamakhulu. Khona ukuze zisondele kuthi singoceba khona ukuze sizigqithisele ngaphambili. Ndizama ukuthi ngawo onke lo mazwi ndingawenzanga amade ngenxa yexesha ndiyabonga. Enkosi.
Julle maak my sommer moeg. Kwai, nice ladies and gentlemen, this was a fantastic session. We heard you, you gave us a lot. We understand that there's much, much more. We have to come back, but we must come back with something. So we promise we will be back with something. We promise we will be back. When we come back, there are some things that you're not going to speak about because we would have brought stuff already before that back. So that's a promise, and the promises are not meant to be broken. So I am now going to say thank you to our members that participated in this day.